Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Far End of the Bench podcast. It is Super Bowl week, but, the biggest story in the sports world during Super Bowl week has nothing to do with football. Yes, you heard that right. The biggest story in the sports world is the monstrosity of a trade that happened in Dallas, in LA, that saw 25-year-old Luka Doncic joining the Los Angeles Lakers. Yes, I would have never thought during Super Bowl week the biggest story in the world sports world would be an NBA trade, but that just shows you the wonderfulness and the excitement that NBA trade season brings upon us. Because man, it's trade season is all the way in, and we are into it. Whether it be Miko Rantanen to the Canes, whether it be JT Miller to the Rangers, De'Aaron Fox to the Spurs, Zach LaVine to the Kings, Luka freaking Doncic, the big Kahuna, the 270-pound man they're calling him for whatever reason. He has been shipped. The franchise to the franchise. The next great hope in Dallas has been shipped to the Los Angeles Lakers. I am going to let Jimmy go off and let him go off on his own tangent because I don't understand it. You gave one of the best young players in the world to a rival franchise that has plagued the Western Conference for the last 50 years. They had Magic, they had Kareem, they had Wilt, they had Shaq, they had Kobe. Now they have LeBron, and now you're telling me that this franchise got gifted their next franchise player in Luka Doncic, and it was gifted from a team in the Western Conference for what? A second round exit with Anthony Davis? Wild, absolutely wild that this is the biggest story in the sports world during Super Bowl week. Because it is. It absolutely is. It's why it's thumbnail, because we try to clickbait over here at the Far End of the Bench podcast. It's just what we do. It's crazy, crazy, crazy. It's one of the craziest trades I've ever seen. I wasn't around for when Gretzky got traded to the LA Kings way back in the day. I wasn't around when Kareem went from Milwaukee to LA and got traded. I wasn't around when Wilt Chamberlain got traded to the Lakers as well. This is as big of a trade as ever happened in my lifetime. And I was on the East Coast. I was almost half asleep, midnight, 12:08, my phone rang, and I thought it was April Fool's. I said, is today April 1st or is it February 1st? I had no idea. It is an absolute crazy trade, one of the craziest trades in NBA history, let alone the sports world. It has this week going nuts. It has the sports world going nuts, and we get to all talk about it. So without further ado, let's jump in the rest of the episode.
If you don't stay down and you never quit, come on over here and sit on the far end of the bench.
Yeet. Okay. I had to get that out of my system. I'll explain the story because I'm sure we're going to talk about that. And when you get to your segments, I want to talk about that. You are correct. I know that you were saying that to me. He was talking to you, benchwarmers. Yes, I know, but that was to me backstage. This is the biggest story. This is what we have to kick off with. I'm sure that he's kind of it wouldn't have mattered whether or not we took last week off. I needed a mental health thing. I was having a rough week at school. There's a lot of things going on with wrestling. So we took last week off. We're back here. We're going to preview Super Bowl 59 between the Chiefs and the Eagles. Man, I feel like I've said that before. And we are going to talk about these massive trade news. Plus, we're also going to look at the standings. We're going to acknowledge the other sports. You finally can exist now. The week of the Super Bowl is the week that you finally start to exist. I texted Nico. I dusted off my Chell game, and I got out hit by Trevor Zegras in my career. So that's how things are going this week. But Nick, you are correct in stating, this is the biggest thing that's happened to that area of the world since Yugoslavia was disbanded, since they got their own country. There's no words. Here's when you know that there's no words, because I'm going to just shock you. I was listening to Brian Windhorst, and I was listening to him, and here's how I know that there's no words, because that guy had no words. He had no fingers. He had no scenarios. He's just
I have no idea what I could understand logically thinking maybe you move on from Luka. Maybe just trying to think logically here. Maybe you move on from Luka and you try to capitalize on AD or you try to capitalize on Kyrie, capitalize on the veterans, and try to win now. I could logically think about that in some sort of sense. But when you trade the franchise player to a Western Conference foe, and you trade him and you rip the heart out of every single fan that arrives to your stadium, how do you sell tickets? Jimmy, because I would be all 100% honest with you. If you sat here and told me Nikola Jokic got traded to the Los Angeles Lakers, I would quit watching basketball. I would quit entire watching. I love basketball. I love it. It's one of my favorite sports to watch, favorite sports to cover. I would stop watching it. I would be done. I'd be like, I can't do this anymore. I don't care how it happened. I don't want to deal with it anymore. Goodbye. It's time to pick up cricket. I seriously would tear everything down and stop becoming a Nuggets fan if that was what my GM did. And instead, they decided, let's take Anthony Davis, who, like I said, he's a good player. I'm not saying he's not. He's a good player. He does have injury problems, which apparently they don't realize because Luka also had injury problems, but that's okay. That's not okay, but AD's injury problems are okay. So they have injury problems. AD, who's can be really one of the best two-way players in the league. Like, he's very, very good. I'm not denying that. But this is not 2016. It's not 2016. Kyrie, Klay Thompson, and Anthony Davis sweep their way to the NBA Finals in 2016. It is 2025. They are the Dallas. Everyone's saying the Dallas Mavericks is a top 3 team in the West. They're still one of the best teams in the West. They are 1 year removed from the NBA Finals. But you took the man who dropped 40 and 70 in the NBA Finals and said, goodbye. Let's go. Go to LA. It blows. Like, I hate the Lakers.
Okay?
I hate
cannot be fat.
Jimmy,
don't be fat in this Dallas
Ozempic
organization.
is a real thing. You can tell. You can give this man Ozempic and pay him the money, and he'll be just fine. Like, I'm not. You're telling me. Like, it's so wild to me. He's
already into this. Or before we get to the contract, because I do want to talk about that. Before we didn't do any of the business. Make sure you follow at FEOTB Pod. Check out the website, feotbpod.org. We'll have new blogs coming out every week, and there will be conversations. I'm going to take a crack at looking at this thing. When we get an answer, I am promising I will write an NBA blog to get an answer. But make sure you follow us, subscribe to the YouTube channel, tell a friend. Want to get that out of the way. Episode 217. Welcome in. All right, let's go with this contract thing, because it not only is bad for him, it's a weird situation, and I don't know how he's going to fit in with the Lakers and JJ Redick, and that's going to take time. But what I'm listening to and what I'm paying attention to most, not eligible for a Supermax anymore because he didn't earn that on the Lakers roster. That was only for the Mavericks. So
for background knowledge, you only get a Supermax if you spent 5+ years with a team and have X amount of awards, which Luka has, by the way. So continue.
He was eligible to get the Supermax if he stayed in Dallas. This was kind of why everybody was leaning towards, if they don't figure out this locker room situation, it was not unlikely that he was going to go. It was just really weird that he went mid-season before they even tried to work anything out.
He straight up said, I would resign. He bought a $15 million home in Dallas, Texas, which is not cheap, by the way, last week. So just out of Jim, I don't know. We neither of us bought a house before. If you buy a house, would you think that you're going to be there for 5 years at minimum?
Yeah, you can't really go whoopsie on that one. You can't really take back that signature. You sign your signature so many times that you can't. You're tied into that now. It's going to be a nice Airbnb spot. How many times do they play Dallas? They'll have a nice bed to sleep in.
Oh, February 22nd, they play each other in Dallas. I am chomping at the bits.
Yes.
Or maybe it's end of this month. They're chomping at the bits. I just look. Let's think about this logically for a second. Does this make either team unbeatable? No. The Lakers do not have a center to guard Jokic now. They don't have a single person on that roster to guard Jokic. Okay, there's a single person on that roster to guard Jokic. And for the Mavericks, that team can't stay healthy. That team can't stay healthy to make up a 13.5 point lead or game lead to try to get the number 1 seed. And that team will need home court advantage depending on if the guys can stay healthy. This doesn't change a massive aspect of one team or the other. What this changes is the long-term effect of the NBA. Because look, for the first time in LeBron's career, and I can confidently say this is not his team. This is not his team. This is Luka Doncic's team. Do you make that deal if you're Los Angeles Lakers for 15 years of number 77 wearing the gold and purple? You don't go give a fuck about what LeBron and Luka's combination looks like because you just got a gem mine, a top 3 at best, at his best player in the NBA in his prime before he even hits the home stretch of his prime, the beginning of it. He's 25. Yeah. Like Jokic is 29, 30, and he's in the prime of his career. Jokic, we can see 2-3 years of this. Luka, you're telling me 7 more years of prime Luka in LA?
It's a 6-year difference between the two. I believe AD turned 31 and Luka, like we said, is 25. But this also screws him. I didn't realize that he bought the house, so it screws him that way. It screws him in the fact that now instead of not paying, I mean, it's not a big deal to us because who has to worry about where you're paying your property taxes? But he had no property tax in half of his games because you play half your games at home and all those other games in Texas, and now you're playing in a place where they charge you for property taxes. Oh, and by the way, they were just around. I don't know, all the fires were there. The firefighters from Canada and Mexico just put out the blaze that they were fighting, and now they're worried about the earth falling away from itself. So that's the situation you're now traded.
This man wanted to be a Dallas Maverick. Yeah. Let me make that very clear. He wanted to be Dirk's protege. He embraced being in Dallas, whether it be on Dude Perfect videos, going to Dallas Wings games, going to all these other Dallas events. Look, the Cowboys may be the most valuable team in Texas. He was the face of Dallas sports. Plain and simple. They made the NBA Finals. He was the most marketable player, beloved by the fans. I could string out a real conversation that he may be the most talented player to ever put a Mavericks jersey on. I have a lot of love for Dirk. Dirk is an unbelievable player. He was an unbelievable player for a lot of years. Luka may be the most talented. Just play out, maybe not have the best career overall, but maybe the most pure talented basketball player. He walked to the NBA at 18 years old. We've had 7 years of Luka. And the man is already top 5 in points per game in the NBA Finals, with 33, by the way. He's already one of the all-time leading scorers in playoff-wise for the Dallas Mavericks. He wanted to be a Dallas Maverick. You could see it in his face when he was crying his eyes out. The man cared about your city. And some bum who used to work for Nike walked in the door and said, I don't give a fuck about you. Let me bring my friends over. It is like, I'm going to go into Nico Harrison because the man is disrespecting the name Nico more than anything. But I'll go into Nico Harrison more. This man said, you know what? Rob Pelinka is my friend. LeBron, probably one of my friends. Rich Paul, my friend. What can I do to try to make the least out of something big and make myself look like an idiot? That's what he did. I cannot stress this enough. I could get to a reasonable understanding about trading Luka if you don't think he's going to resign. I could get to that point where we probably could move on from him. What I cannot get to is not having a fucking bidding war. Not saying who wants him, come get him. Especially because look, think about this. Rudy Gobert, how many first-round picks did he get traded for? 5. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 5 first-round picks. The Minnesota Timberwolves gave up for him. Mikal Bridges in New York, how many first-rounds picked did the Knicks trade to the Nets? 4 first-round picks. You got 1 first-round pick, an aging player, and a role player off the bench for one of the best players in the world. I'd be furious. Like I said, I'd give up basketball altogether. I would. I don't care if they win a championship at this rate because, frankly, it's a long shot for them to do that. Because I don't think they're better than OKC. I don't think they're better than Boston still. Don't think they're better than us. I don't think that they're better than half the teams that are in the championship window right now still after this trade. And instead, you just threw it all away, giving away your franchise player. Oh, man. I am so passionate about this because I feel for how much it hurts. I had Melo stripped away from me. I did. As a Nuggets fan, I had Melo stripped away from me. But you know what my team did? They said, you know what? It's time to move on. Let's build toward the future. Let's try to get the best we can. People forget that 2011, I think maybe it was 2012 season. The Nets were the front runner. The Brooklyn, New York, New Jersey Nets was on. New Jersey Nets were the front runner to land Melo. It was New Jersey and New York. We had a bidding war between the two, had them go against each other, and we got a lot of draft picks, a lot of capital for them to extend that trade. Nico Harrison may be the biggest dumbass I've ever seen. I have never
Do you
seen
think it was stupid? It
incompetence.
doesn't seem like it's stupidity. I think it's spite. I don't think that it's stupidity. I think there was something personal that was
Has to
beyond.
be. Like, I hate saying this, and I'm gonna hate myself for saying this. There has to be something else going on. There has to be. There is no like Luka must have okay, I'm gonna be careful with it. Must have banged your fucking wife because or did something for you to hate him this much. Because Luka Doncic's jersey was filled throughout that arena. They fucking put a mural outside Dirk's statue, acting like he died when they trade him. It has to be something else. It has to be because there's no logical. I just have to sit here thinking there's no logical way you can sit here and be like, you know what, this is going to help us for long term.
I mean, as bad as we think the relationship between the management with the Nuggets and Jamal Murray is, that's what I'm wondering. I can't wait for. I normally don't like the drama, but that's what the NBA is good for. It's
the best anything. It's better than anything we ever get.
I feel like it's going to be the week. It'll probably be the week of the finals is when he's finally going to sit down with somebody and he's going to let everything fly and we're going to understand. But it was, I mean, also what are the Jazz doing? Because the Jazz are involved in that trade.
Jimmy, Danny Ainge didn't know what else was in the trade.
How do you agree to that though? That's what I don't understand. You don't understand half of the part of the deal, but you just say yes.
When you get draft picks and you get players for free, you basically don't give a fuck. Let me make that very, very clear. The Jazz are in a rebuild of all-time rebuilds, okay? So I don't think Danny Ainge knew about it because all the rumors are saying he didn't know about it because he is a Boston Celtic for life. Let's not forget, okay? He is the general manager for the Utah Jazz, but he played in Boston, was a GM in Boston that brought the Big Three and brought their championship, did all that. And I don't think he would agree to this. But he was so late in the process and so far accepted, he was like, I can't.
That's shady as shit. That I mean, is Silver
Nico Harrison and Rob Pelinka are shady. It's literally.
No, I know. I feel, but is the commissioner going to look into that, or are they just going to let this?
Jimmy, if this is David Stern, that shit would have never happened. That shit would never happen.
So I guess we're maybe over. You're the shiniest of the turds. There is no good professional sports commissioner. Is Paul Rabel? We'll say Paul Rabel is the only good professional sports commissioner.
I just try to think of it logically from both standpoints, right? The Lakers, look, they're the fifth seed in the West right now. They're not that far behind. LeBron has been playing pretty well. They look like they have some things in Dalton to connect and Austin Reeves. You add in Luka Doncic. This team, if they don't make another move for a center, they'll be a first-round exit. They will not go past this. But you make this deal in hopes of the next 10 years, this being Luka's team. Like this team's future was so unbelievably bleak after LeBron retired. Unbelievably bleak. This team,
Ronnie Jr.
That's what I'm saying. Unbelievably bleak. And then now you get gifted a fucking Ferrari.
So that's the other part of this. Is there anything personal against Anthony Davis, or is this truly just Luka was available and you're just like, I'm sorry.
This is business. Anthony Davis is still beloved there. This is business. This is like so apparently this is what makes it crazier is the Mavericks called the Lakers about this deal. It wasn't the other way around. Nico Harrison called Rob Pelinka and was like, hey, what do you think? Like, would you do this? Would you not? Would you? If anyone calls you about Luka Doncic, it's the old Wolf of Wall Street. We're like, fuck you. You're a fucking idiot. It's like, yes, what do you want? Anthony Davis? I give you that. You want Max Christie? I give you that. Fuck you fucking idiot. You're an idiot. Just be like, what in the world's wrong with you? Like, it's literally that meme.
Yeah, the other good one that I saw was from Moneyball when they sit Jeremy Giambi down in the manager's office and Brad Pitt's just like, hey, you've been traded. Here's the number for a guy, and they'll treat you real nice out there, but you're not playing for us tonight.
It's Jason Kidd literally being like, I'm going to start Jeremy Giambi at first base, and then Rob Pelinka, and Rob Pelinka goes, no, you're not.
I understand that the lineup card is yours, but you can't start him.
I was like, I don't care. I'm still doing it. He's like, well, he can't because he plays for Dallas.
He doesn't play on our team anymore.
He doesn't play on our team anymore. Be like, what? The fact, look, Jason Kidd is one of the greatest like passing point guards of all time. The pure defeat in his face in that post trade press conference.
Why was he there? If he was not involved in this situation, why would I heard a good comparison. It's like your wife cheated on you and then she sits you down in her video to explain why she did it, but she never explains anything. She just sits there and talks about how your relationship was bad and we both knew that this was coming, and Jason Kidd's just sitting there with that 1,000-yard stare like I came home early from work. That's all that happened.
I was asleep. I don't know what happened. I woke up and all of a sudden Luka Doncic is playing for the Lakers.
I called a half day. That's all I did. I said I called a half day.
Look, as someone that lives in the sports world, works in the sports world, the PR team in Dallas is doing fucking overtime. Those dudes deserve a raise because of everything that's been spewed out of this guy's mouth. Do you look? I don't think a single general manager in any sport in the history of sports said, I don't know what my future looks like for 10 years from now. I really only care about 4 to 5 years because I'll be under, they'll put me under the dirt by then. What general managers comes out and say that? You can think that. That's not a wrong way of thinking. What general manager publicly says, I'm probably not going to be here in 10 years. So my future involves the next 4 years.
I don't want you working for my fucking.
I don't want you living in my city. I don't want you living in my city.
That sounds very much like C's get degrees, and that's not the doctor that I want operating on me. I don't want the guy that just, didn't ever read a book in medical school. I want the anal type A guy that had straight A's and complained to the professor when he got a 99 instead of 100.
This is just so unbelievably dumb because, like I said, apparently they made a call to one other team, and I think it's Milwaukee. If I were to guess, I think it's Milwaukee. And they hung up. I think that they offered Luka for Giannis, and I think Milwaukee said, "Fuck off."
You're shitting. Like you're shitting me. There's no fuck.
This isn't 2K, right? Like you're not. We're not playing a video game.
There's 7 days left to the trade line. How about you call me when you want to be realistic here?
Like what do you want to do? Like seriously? Like
who would they have traded for? Who would the one of one?
It would have been Giannis. It would have been Giannis. Because apparently
they would have done that.
I don't know, Jimmy.
Obviously they said no. Obviously,
Dallas would. If Dallas was willing to trade Luka for Anthony Davis, they definitely would.
How old is he? Giannis isn't 30 yet, is he?
I think he's a little older than Jokic, so maybe 30, 31. Yeah. So he's around the same time frame.
I think in my head, he's always the same age that he won the championship with, and then ate the 50-piece nugget. Jimmy, how awesome would it have been if the guy taking the call goes, I want Antetokounmpo. Oh yeah, I'll trade you.
I'll use Thanasis.
Yes, you knew exactly where I was going.
You want Thanasis? I'll give you Thanasis.
Thanasis, Antetokounmpo for Luka Doncic. Got it.
I just cannot stress this enough. Why there wasn't a bidding war? Rob Pelinka trolled this man. He said, I really respect Nico Harrison for not getting this out in the public so that we can just have one-on-one trade talks. That means you got fucking fleeced. That means you said, you son of a bitch, I'll take whatever you want. I don't think I have never been blown away. Like I said in the center attention, I wasn't around for the Gretzky trade. We weren't alive for the Gretzky trade when he got traded from Edmonton to LA. But I don't think that Edmonton got nothing in return. Right?
They still ended up going on and winning a cup the year after, so and I think the only one that was as shocking time period wise was the only one that comes to mind is Stafford for Goff, but that was only because it was two straight up starting quarterbacks. Yeah. But it was also like, I see that from both sides, and it made logical sense for both because the Lions wanted to get younger so they can get better, and the Rams were kind of established and they wanted a guy that they thought could perform in the postseason. I know that Anthony Davis, like you said, good player, really solid player. If you can keep him off the floor if you can get him on the floor for less than like 30 minutes a night, because then he's going to start wearing down. Great player to have.
Oh, amazing.
That's not a guy that drops. That's not an alpha in your room. Like Luka's 25 now. He does need to grow up. He needs to get over this European. I am me. I am not the team. I am me. That seems what it's like because he's doing all of the random diva shit in the media when they're losing in the postseason. But you can work on that. You can hire a mental coach. You can get a veteran in here that kicks his ass. Like, just watch the movie Bull Durham. You don't send him away for that. You don't send him away because you have to.
an interconference rival.
Yeah. That you're going to the fact that they still play them a few more times this season, that's
It's just so I've never been a loss for
but Nico,
words.
it's not an in-division trade.
Divisions don't mean anything.
I
in
know.
basketball. But like it's so unbelievably blasphemous. I really hope this is a Babe Ruth reverse or jinx, like a jinx that the Mavericks will never ever snip the NBA Finals for another 100 years. I really do, because this is.
I think I know somebody with a lot of money in his pockets that probably feels the same way.
Jimmy, Mark Cuban went on record and saying, "I'd rather divorce my wife than trade Luka Doncic." That is a real quote. I'm not fabricating.
You catch me at my lawyer's office
quote.
creating the divorce papers. If
It's
that's
a
what
real
it comes
fucking
to.
quote that happened in 2019. I don't know, Jimmy. I
He's
seriously
probably
don't know.
smashed up a couple of his Ferraris. He's probably invested in a couple of shit coins. Just
I
wanted to
would've-
feel something again.
At this rate, Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. for Luka Doncic was not out of the question. I thought it was blowing smoke when I said that we could try to get him. I thought it was blowing smoke, and obviously he wasn't untouchable. What this trade makes me just realize even more and more, especially in football, even as a football, the hockey, baseball too, is loyalty doesn't mean shit. If you're a player, go where the fuck you want to. Go where the fuck you want to. If this is what ownership and what general managers do to you, go where the fuck you want to. Oh, Tony, you want to go play for the Dodgers and win 20 World Series championship? Fucking go for it. Freddie Freeman,
Soto.
you want to do that? Soto, you want to go to the Mets and get paid a butt ton of money and just maybe win a World Series too? Go for it. I don't give it. There's zero loyalty. Zero. Zero loyalty.
You learn that in a way in college. That's what I say when I tell people about my feelings on football. I hated football after high school because I was that guy that was loyal. I loved being loyal to where I was at, and it wasn't met with that same thing because you got to remember there is much more of a business behind it. So yeah, I guess I'm going to poke a hole. I'm going to poke a hole in my own argument here because that's how you feed your family is making decisions. And Nico Collins is not going to feed his family making decisions like that.
Nico Harrison, yeah. Nico
Nico Collins is, yeah. He's doing fine. He's in Cabo somewhere. He's enjoying life.
But I just I cannot I literally have never been speechless after a trade.
You and Brian Windhorst both.
I have never in my life just been what just happened? Just no rumors, no nothing. Just an absolute just get it the fuck out of my door. It's the old Jackie Moon semi-pros. You traded me for a fucking washing machine. Yeah, get out the door, and we'll use that washing machine later. Is what they did with Monix. I've never been more lost for words in my life, and like I said, I love Luka. Luka's so much fun to watch. He is one of those guys that just he plays with excitement, plays like a little kid at heart. And I hate the Lakers. I will never love the Lakers. I will not. That is number one of the hate list. If I write a list of Nico hate lists, it is Lakers 1, 2, 3, 4, Raiders 5. That's how it goes. Okay, that has always been and always will be that way. And just giving him to a franchise that won't fumble them is the most frustrating thing to me, because how many untouchable players are there in this league? I'm serious. I hope to God Jokic is on that list. I hope to God. Praise my God. If motherfucking
if he gets traded, he's not playing anywhere else.
Calvin Booth better fucking go on an island and turn off his phone and never be found again if he trades Jokic. Okay, Jokic I think is on that list. I think Giannis is on that list. I'll put Giannis there. I would put Wembanyama. I put Wemby there. I think Wemby is one of those guys that at this rate is going to be an out of this world person.
Who's the young guy on Philly? Not Embiid, but
Maxey,
the young guy.
Maxey, I think is expendable. I think Maxey is expendable.
I also forgot about the franchise that I was talking about. We're talking about loyalty, and I brought up Philadelphia. What the fuck am I doing?
Expandable. I would say LeBron only because LeBron would determine where he'd get traded. I don't think it's out of the question LeBron would ever get traded. I think he'd determine.
It's just up to him.
Exactly. So I would put LeBron in that. I think I'd put Curry. Those are the 5 I'd put. Curry will never go anywhere. I think he will die in that Golden State Warrior blue and white. He will never play for another team. Those are the 5 untouchables in my opinion. But like I just sit here and I'm just like, I would easily put Luka in that conversation at the beginning of the season. Like if you told me the Dallas Mavericks made a massive move for Anthony Davis, I was like, oh sick, Kyrie gets to play with LeBron in LA. That would have been my response. Been like, okay, Kyrie goes to the Lakers then. Not Luka. Not 25-year-old top 3 player in the world, Luka. Actually, hold on, I take it back. Shea is also in that conversation for untouchable. But there are so few untouchables in basketball that frankly, I don't even know if they're untouchable at this rate. We gotta keep moving on because I can go on for a full 2-hour podcast about this bullshit.
Let's get to the
so
other
crazy.
trade. The other trade that involved this one not as seismic. I guess it's seismic for us because I didn't want it to happen. I didn't want it to happen, but it seems like you said it and I said the same thing when the way that Whitney put it on their show. Like he did choose this. So as much as I want to feel bad and as much as it sucks, this is not a situation. This is not Nico Harrison just sending somebody off. This is not Chris McFarland and Joe Sakic not negotiating with someone. They are not being met at the negotiating table because of the agency and the player. And they're just I'm sure that Nate would take less money because Nate knows what it means to keep a guy like Nico Rantanen around. But at that point, it seems like it's going to get to being a cancer. So you might as well get somebody back. Nico Heischer's on a really team-friendly deal. The Devils, the Canes are both involved. Rantanen's going to play in Carolina. He'll have an opportunity to see if he can turn Aho into the player that everybody thinks he has the potential to be. But that's where I kind of come back to this. As much as it sucks, as much as I never wanted to see the Moose leave, it was his choice.
It hurts. It absolutely hurts. And 3 years ago now, 2022 it was, when we won the Stanley Cup, that's the last time we saw the 3-headed monster of a line of McKinnon, Rantanen, and Landeskog. That series against Tampa was the last time we ever saw it. That hurts, I think, more than anything. It's like what could have happened if Landy was healthy? What happened if Val didn't go on his tirades the last 2 postseasons? We could have went on a lot of more runs, unfortunately, and unfortunately things didn't fall our way. And I was hurt so much. It hurt me seeing him go and seeing him in a different uniform. Then I thought about logically, what would hurt me more? Nico Rantanen in another uniform, or Cale fucking Makar in another uniform? And I'm sorry, it's Cale. I as fans, if you don't agree, so be it. It is Cale Makar. Cale Makar is the Bobby Orr of this generation. Okay, he is going to go down as one of the greatest defensemen of all time. At this rate, I hate. It's weird saying this, but wingers are replaceable. They are. Wingers are replaceable.
He doesn't. If he wants Draisaitl money, he doesn't do what Draisaitl does because Draisaitl steps up and plays 2C, and they put Mikko at center to take faceoffs sometimes, but he never has center responsibilities. He's not good enough defensively. That's also a part of the reason why you're not getting paid that kind of money, because you don't score as much as Draisaitl, you don't play center, and you don't play that defensive side of the puck. Like, yeah, I think you should have had more cups in Colorado, but you're giving up on a team that has a much brighter future than the one that you're going to. I don't know if Carolina's ever going to get over the hump in the Eastern Conference.
I mean, I think that Mikko could help them. I think Mikko could get them over the hump. They still have those defensive and goaltender problems. So
if you close your eyes now and picture Mikko and the Canes going up against Florida, you think that they have a better they might have a better chance, but it's still going to be what it was last year. I still think that it's like the Avalanche have shown that, yes, they're down, but they're figuring out their goaltending. Like, there was reasons to take a pay cut to stay here. You're playing with Nathan McKinnon.
He still would have been the highest paid winger in the NHL. He would have. All you ask for $800,000 less than Nathan McKinnon, and you are still the highest paid winger in the NHL. Still, because that gives taking $3 million more takes money out of Cale Makar's pocket, takes money out of McKinnon's pocket, takes money out of a lot of players' pockets. That makes this team so unbelievably worse that it would have crippled this team. Paying $14 million for a winger. The top echelon of players, and I think this has put this perfectly. It's McDavid, it's McKinnon, it's Draisaitl, it's Matthews, and what do all those guys have in common?
They play center.
They play center. Exactly. They take the faceoffs, two-way guys. Nico Ranson is that next wave of great players. He absolutely is. He's that next wave of great players. But you take him off McKinnon's line, let's see what he does. So, I'm serious. Let's see what we talk about Jokic.
He didn't play very well away from McKinnon in Colorado either.
Exactly. It's like we talk about Jokic and be like, what would Jamal Murray look like elsewhere? I don't think he's as good. I don't think Michael Porter's as good. I don't think Aaron Gordon's as good. You take a guy away from Nathan McKinnon's line, see what he does. That's all I'm going to say. See what he does. And look, I have all the love in the world for Miko. I think he helped us bring a cup. He was a staple to this team since he got drafted here. He done a lot of great things. You want to take $14 million and you want to watch Cale McCarr walk out the door? See ya. Adios.
And he's not going to get $14 million from Carolina. That's not a franchise that's going to pay you that. So it could have fun playing in San Jose next year.
If Carolina doesn't re-sign Miko Ranson, that is back-to-back regular seasons where they trade for a top winger in the game and aren't able to resign him. Jake Gensel last year, Miko Ranson this year. What an absolute
Rantanen's ask is going to be way too big for these teams. A lot of these teams don't have this money yet. I know that we're asking for these contracts with the idea that the salary cap is going up, but it's just not there. You can't ask for something that's not there. And I hate to sound, at the risk of sounding culturally insensitive, as these European players who play hockey speak better English. Not that you speak poor English, but get better and more comfortable speaking English. You can get more money in endorsements. You never saw Miko Rantanen on TV here because he doesn't like to speak English on television. It's his right. It's his choice. But if you're really all that worried about money, there are other ways that you can go about making it. You just have to be willing to make those decisions, and he was not willing to make those decisions. And at that point, you're not willing to help this team. That means that you're here to hurt this team.
You're gone. If you wanted to win a cup, you would have stayed here. That's simple. If you wanted to win a cup, you would have took $3 million less. Because in the grand scheme of things, $3 million less is not that crazy much amount of money.
And who's going to pay him $14 million that he's going to have a chance to win a cup with?
It's going to be It's going to be a bad team. It's going to be a bad team.
It's got to be a bad team that's got millions and millions of dollars in cap space, and they're hoping to bring in a guy that'll sell some jerseys. And Rantanen in a San Jose color will probably sell some jerseys. He might be lucky and make his way a little bit further north up the highway and be in Anaheim and be a Duck. That might be an interesting.
I don't know. He could go to San Jose, pair with Macklin Celebrini. That could be something down the line. But obviously in the now, it doesn't help him much. On the flip side of this trade, I am very, very happy for what McFarland and Sakic did because like I said, you could have got more prospects, could have got more things. Instead of getting prospects for when you start player, you got players that can play now. You got players that you play now, and you have flexibility to make other moves now if you want to do that, right? Netchis is going to slide right into that first line. He already has. He's one of the fastest guys in the ice in the league. But him and McKinnon, they could run sprints up and down the ice all day long, all they want. Okay.
Good luck coming up the neutral zone.
Exactly. They're going to have a field day, and you throw Lehkonen on the first line, maybe a Val, even the first six still has a lot of flexibility there. But you open up around $5 to $6 million in cap space by doing this
for 2 seasons. It's locked in for 2 seasons.
2 seasons, which. I hate saying this. I hate being the guy that has to do the fucking alien cap with conspiracy theories. That's the contract that Sidney Crosby has in Pittsburgh. Okay, I'm just throwing that out there. I would, like I said,
what would he be? 50?
I don't know.
He's got a 5-year plan already. What is it? Don't die.
I could dream. Okay, and he's still playing good hockey. He's not
Sid.
Pittsburgh just sucks.
Sid, okay? It's your change. Sid, go.
It could be, like I said, more realistic. Could be Brock Nelson, and who's been injured and been playing pretty good hockey. He's on trading block. But that's if you can re-sign him. Like I said, this opens a lot of different avenues that I'd be very surprised. I don't know when the NHL trade deadline is. I don't think it's this week. I think the NBA is Thursday.
I think it's a month after the NBA.
Yeah.
I think they go all the way to March before.
So we were
talking about that last year. The trade deadline's so late in the season that all your acquisitions spend the rest of the season trying to acclimatize, and you're hoping to keep your playoff spot. That's where these teams sometimes get themselves in trouble.
So there's still a month that this team could make a move. This team's defense is still, goddamn, the third pair of defense is maybe the worst I've ever seen in the NHL history. What the Avs are putting out there defensively is not helping Blackwood and Wedgwood. They need another defender if you do make a move for a defenseman. Obviously, the big kahuna out there, if you want to make that move, you could. this opens up a lot of different avenues that frankly Sack and McFarland have done in the past, right? Like whether bringing in Burakovsky during that deal when he was out of Washington, bringing in Kadri off of Toronto and plugging him in. When you got this cap space, when you got rid of Duchesne, when you got rid of some of these other pieces that have been on the payroll for so long, and you could build upon that even further. So, like I said, this
I
opens
know
up a lot of
that he's
possibilities.
older, but what about Letang? It's another guy in Pittsburgh.
He's too slow at this rate. At this rate, he's too slow. Is my biggest problem. Is like there needs to be some power and there needs to be speed, especially with this lineup.
And I feel like too, you want to look for a little bit of championship experience.
Yeah.
You want somebody that knows,
I agree.
like. I guess it kind of missed the mark with Parisi because he had never been there. You're trying to do what you did with Cogliano, but I feel like you want to, not that you want an old guy, but you do want a guy that's going to have something to him that can help out McKinnon and McCarr, because you're losing a lot of pieces that were on that championship team.
There's
now
only
you have
6
to
pieces left. There's not.
Yeah.
There's
you
not
have to
many
look
left.
to, and again, well, that's I wonder how Lecky is doing, because Lecky and Rantanen would just speak Finnish to each other all the time. They'd never talk to anybody else. So now Lecky's going to have to branch out a little bit, and he's going to have to make some new friends. But we should check on Arturi Lekkinen. He signed here, so he's going to be
I think
here.
like he loves playing with McKinnon so much. I don't think it's that's like I don't have. This is going to sound really bad. I don't have the same worries that I have with Lehkonen as I do with a Russian level player. I'm sorry. Like a Russian may fucking abort ship if his best friend got traded. Be like, I'm done with this shit. I don't want to deal with it, and be goodbye. A Finnish guy, they're kind of a little bit nicer, I would think, a little bit more friendly over there in Finland. So maybe it's a little bit different.
We'll see how it all works out. Last thing, when we're talking about the trades and everything, and then we'll look at the standings, and I'll throw those up on the screen for the NBA and NHL. It's in the NFL. It was released this week that Cooper Kupp is on the trading block. He's being looked at in different places. I've seen Minnesota with Kevin O'Connell. He would also have a lot of pressure taken off of him with that receiver room. I'm selfishly thinking like Cincinnati. I don't know how you feel about the Broncos.
Right now, the Broncos are the odds-on favorites to land him.
Okay.
I don't think he. I think we need to get younger. Frankly, if you want to move Sutton from the receiver position, then we could talk about Cooper Kupp. I think we need to get younger, a little bit more explosive. I don't think Cooper Kupp at this rate is that. I think he's could be a really good fit in like Green Bay. If Green Bay need a legitimate number one receiver that can just pass, catch, and be consistent, I think he would be really good. He'd be a great number two alongside Justin Jefferson. Seattle possibly, if they want to get rid of Tyler Lockett and DK Metcalf as a free agent, if you want to have Njigba and Cooper Kupp. There's options out there for him, but you are getting an aged receiver that frankly doesn't have a lot of explosiveness off the line, so it's a little different.
I think that he has to. That's why I think Minnesota is kind of where I'm landing. I think that he has to be in a place where he's not going to be relied on as much. I think that's what's worn him down and why he dealt with so many injuries in Los Angeles. But I think, too, you have to be able to scheme him. And that's what McVay did better than a lot of people. That's why he was as successful as he is. He's very consistent. He's very disciplined. But talent-wise.
What about New England?
Yeah, I mean, New England would be an interesting
fit.
Go with Drake May.
May and Vrabel.
And they haven't had a receiver since Randy Moss, so that would be nice for them. You could fill that Edelman. I don't know if he wants to play in the slot because that's where people take bigger hits. It's just it's a little bit bigger of a name. What do you think that he gets in return? What is the return for
I would say a fourth at max. Like it's not downplaying the value, but like I think it's third at max, maybe a fourth, more than likely a fifth round pick. I don't think the Rams are going to get anything crazy. However, when you look at the flip side, Myles Garrett, however, that could be a different conversation of what he's going to warrant in return and what the Browns could get for him. Which
they might be able to get out from underneath that Watson contract.
They're going to need to do something. It's like they have the number 2 overall pick. They could get a quarterback. They could get Abdul Carter, who everyone thinks is the number one prospect in this year's draft because of how good he is. Like they could land upon that, or you could obviously see and try to trade Myles Garrett for a quarterback or try to get a pick back in the first round. Maybe I don't know. There's options out there, but when it comes to Myles Garrett, it's like Detroit makes a lot of sense. I don't know if Detroit would give up a lot of first and just ship their whole future for it. Green Bay makes sense. I heard Cincinnati makes sense, but I highly, highly doubt Cleveland would trade him to an in-division rival. I think that's where that problem comes in. Myles Garrett, I would say, is going to warrant one first at minimum, maybe two, depending on the situation. Cooper Cup, I would think would be a third or a fourth, which frankly, I think I would take a gamble on it.
It seems like one of those, it's a little bit later on in the franchise. You've been playing a little bit. He's a little bit older, but you might want to pick him up because you never know. It's never bad to have a consistent receiver. I mean, Thielen has made a decent transition to Carolina and fitting in really well with Cooper Kupp. So that kind of leads credence to what you said about the Patriots. I just think that it's going to get the NFL. That's why it's hilarious that the Falcons got in trouble for Cousins slipping that they were talking to him. These teams are talking to all of these players, whether they're saying it or not. These conversations are happening. The only difference is everybody's doing it behind closed doors and everybody knows what everybody else is doing. And the Luka situation was not that. It was not shared. That was confidential, need to know basis. And if you were not in the cool kids club, you did not get to sit at the table.
Yeah, like I said, it is 100% a trade season. It's like NHL trades are happening with JT Miller going to New York. He finally got out of Vancouver, which I think
Vancouver had contingencies both way. Whichever one they couldn't ship, they had deals in place for the other because that whole situation. Talk about soap opera drama.
Yeah, talk about soap opera between Paris and him. So that was interesting. Obviously, Levine getting out of Chicago and going to Sacramento. I don't know what Chicago thinks they're doing and getting returned. They had Levine, DeRozan, and Lonzo Ball and Alex Caruso, and out of the three of them, the best player they got out of that was Trey Jones in a 2031 first round pick. It's horrible. It's one of the horse.
Did they get rid of all of those guys?
Well, Lonzo's still there, but like he hasn't played in 2 years, and he's in and out of the lineup because of his injury history. So they were once a top 3 team in the East too, fully healthy back in 21. Early 2022 as well. So and they had nothing for Levine. I've seen Bulls fans lose their goddamn mind over what they got for Levine. And frankly, like as a Nuggets fan, San Antonio scares the shit out of me. De'Aaron Fox is a good ball player. I think Wemby is the next thing. I think Wemby's the next Giannis, the next LeBron, the next face of this league. I'm dead serious. Like what? And I know Popovich has had that heart complications, so he hasn't been the head coach. But the assistant coach they have over there, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he's done a great job implementing the right system. They didn't get rid of Seven Castle, who I think is a very, very good, exciting guard over there. You add De'Aaron Fox, you add Jeremy Sochan, you add the alien that is Wembanyama. San Antonio could be in the conference final position in the next couple of years, talking about very easily, very, very easily. And that's something I haven't been able to say since Duncan retired. So and so I love what the Spurs did with getting Fox. Fox obviously wanted to play there with Wemby. Who the hell doesn't want to play with Wemby? This guy's going to give you a free meal ticket to wherever the fuck you want. This guy is different. So
I'm gonna start looking at Zillow right now for my next contract. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna pass you the ball in the paint, big man, and when everybody's following you, I'll hit a 3. Don't worry, I got you.
Exactly. So those are the other big moves that have happened, and like I said, I don't know what else has happened because as we've been doing the show, Durant rumors have been swirling out there. Obviously, Jimmy Butler rumors have been swirling around. Jimmy Butler apparently told the Golden State Warriors, "I'm not re-signing with you," because Andrew Wiggins for Jimmy Butler trade was going to happen, but Jimmy Butler said, "I'm not playing in Golden State." I guess. Those are the rumors going out there. I'm sure our friends at Fatboy Fadeaway will have more info on that, and if you want to hear about all that. So that rumors are swirling out there. LeBron, what does he do? Does he stay in LA? Does he go somewhere else? What do they do in Phoenix with KD, with Devin Booker?
I've heard that's where Jimmy Butler is trying to force himself to is Phoenix, but they can't get rid of Bradley Beal because nobody wants to take his contract.
I hate to break the bad news to Jimmy Butler. Pat Riley will not send you where you want to go. He will not physically say you're gonna go. We're gonna do what's best for the Miami Heat, not for Jimmy Butler. That's literally word for word. I think what Pat Riley and Andy Ellsberg is telling Jimmy Butler is that I don't give a fuck where you want to go. Is if you want to go resign with them, fine. We're gonna do what's best for the Miami Heat and in the future. And so that Jimmy Butler saga, and I'm sure like when I come back from break here in a couple weeks, like we'll all be touching on all that and what those moves like, I'd be very surprised if he was a Miami Heat still come the deadline. I'd be very surprised. I'd be very surprised if Durant got traded. I don't see that happening unless he goes back to Golden State. But the Warriors are apparently calling about every single All-Star is how desperate they are to give Curry another All-Star. Like, that is a real quote that they have called about every single All-Star asking about them. Honestly, nothing surprises me at this point with Luka. Is all I'm going to say is nothing surprises me with Luka. I would expect Sidney Crosby be traded to fucking Winnipeg. I expect LeBron James to go back to Cleveland and bring another championships into the land. At this rate, I don't know what sounds like a falsity and what could not actually happen, because who knows? This trade season is it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy.
Is it AI or is it real? Is it AI or is it real? It's real. Luka is a Los Angeles Laker.
It just makes me want to throw up so much. I want to throw up.
I'm going to get the standings up on the screen. We're going to start in the NBA. Let's look real quickly because this is going to be the most time that we spent on it in quite a while. We'll start in the Eastern Conference. Cleveland, after their hot start, still banging away at home. 24 pause. Excuse me. Sorry, I meant to banging away at home. Pause. They're 24-3 at home. They are 40-9 overall. Currently, have 5.5 game lead on Boston for the 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, and then Chicago, Atlanta, Orlando, and Detroit are rounding things out as the current play-in teams. That's what when you brought up what the Bulls are doing. I've been listening to Big Cat long enough, who's a big Chicago fan. Jerry Reinsdorf is just trying to make the play-in tournament, so he gets 2 extra home games and a couple extra home gates. That's all he's trying to get.
Checks out. Like, the East is so bad. Like, look, I love what Detroit's doing. Detroit basketball may be back, but them being the 6th seed, like that's what the East has got going on. Orlando's had some injuries; they're okay. I find this as a this is going to be weird saying this because I think Milwaukee could get there. If Milwaukee makes a move for Middleton and move him somewhere where they try to bring someone else back in, like possibly Kuzma and Valanciunas is what I saw in that deal. If that deal happens, I put Milwaukee back in the upper echelon. But it's Cleveland, it's Boston, it's New York that are the real title contenders in the East right now. But Milwaukee's a fringe team, depending on what they do at the deadline. They've just been so inconsistent. But I love what Cleveland's been doing. Cleveland is doing great.
Do you still like Boston to go back?
Yeah, I mean, as of this moment, I would say Boston because Cleveland doesn't have – I'm sorry, Ohio Sports Talk. Cleveland doesn't have a playoff experience. This team has – I mean, John Mitchell is the most playoff experience this team has. So I think that could end up hurting that. But I do think this team has a very good shot at making conference finals. Very good shot at getting a chance to go to the NBA Finals. I think they're that talented with the team they've built with Kenny Atkinson over there in Cleveland. So whether or not they take the next step in their first year of this young team, that's the big question. This team looks like a 2020, 2021 Denver Nuggets bubble team that we're like, this team's hungry, this team's exciting, it has a lot of weapons here and there, but the inexperience is there, so they could get to a conference finals but lose to a better team or lose to a team that has experience like a Boston, possibly maybe Milwaukee. So, but if you're a Cleveland Cavaliers fan, you are enjoying the hell out of this team right now.
I just, as I'm trying to move over to the Western Conference, I see the bottom of the East, and I see Charlotte sitting there, and I'm sitting thinking, wow, a few years ago, I would have never thought that Angelo Ball would be the most successful of all the Ball brothers. He's the only one not in the NBA. Yet here we are. That is the reality we live in because Charlotte sucks, Lonzo's not playing, and the East is the Wizards are god-awful. Like, I feel like I might be able to crack the starting lineup for the Wizards. 8-36.
The Wizards need a fire sale and try to get as many picks as possible to make sure that they get Cooper Flag. That's their only hope at this rate.
It's not even guaranteed that you're going to get the number 1 pick. I don't understand. Tanking in the NBA makes no sense to me. Western Conference, Oklahoma City currently in the top spot. They have a 6-game lead on Memphis. Houston the 3, Denver the 4. They would meet the Los Angeles Lakers with their new toy Luka in the first round of the playoffs at the 5 seed. And then Lakers are the 6. Minnesota, Sacramento, Phoenix, and Golden State right now are your play-in teams for the Western Conference.
Look, OKC has been on a tear. Oklahoma City has been such a damn good team. I like what Memphis is doing. John Morant getting healthy. Jaren Jackson Jr. playing like an all-star level player. Been fantastic. Zach Edey has really stepped into that enforcer role, frankly, that they wanted. It's like be a big body, bang body, pause, bang bodies and beat up some little dudes, and he's done a great job. Houston is very intriguing. They've been a team that's been in the Jimmy Butler sweepstakes / KD sweepstakes, possibly could end up there. Like I said, people are saying that the Mavericks are going to be a top 2 seed in the West. Pull up that graphic. How many games back are they? 13 and a half games back from the 1 seed. 13 and a half.
Yes, they would be. They are.
They gotta fight their way out of the play-in.
Yeah, they're not doing well.
I mean, if you think the Dallas Mavericks are going to be top 2 seed in the West,
treat your stars like shit. You're going to get karma back at you. Karma sucks.
What I think is so interesting is like those last couple teams there in that playing situation, because I think San Antonio will have a conversation. Golden State doesn't make a move. I think Golden State or Phoenix could be out of the play-in. It's weird saying that. I see Dallas moving up. I do see possibly San Antonio making a move up with the Aaron Fox now. It's going to be interesting to see what these next couple of weeks are, because we talk about NBA season. There's 3 waves. There's pre-All-Star break, post-All-Star break, playoffs. Pre-All-Star break is for the teams that, hey, you're getting good wins when you need to, see what teams are made of, who's the real contenders, if for playoff races, who's not. That's where you figure that out. Post-All-Star break, you find out, okay, who's the actual NBA title contenders, who are just going to be flashes in playing, who really has a good shot at this. In the playoffs, obviously, we figure all that out entirely. So these next after post All-Star break on Thursday, I think maybe it's Friday, I can't remember. But once we move past that, we're going to really figure out who the real meat of the NBA is.
We know that the Celtics are your pick for the Eastern Conference as of now. Who is your Western Conference pick? Is it going to be the Nuggets? Is it going to be somebody else?
I'm going to be logical right now. So I'm going to pick Oklahoma City. Oklahoma City's been on tear. Oh, the Thunder have been unbelievable thus far. This what Shea's doing, and like I said, if it wasn't for Jokic, I would say Shea's the best player in the world. I frankly would. I don't think that's even a hesitation because of how good he is. I would say OKC and Boston would meet in the finals if I were to put my money on it right now. I think Houston or Memphis be a cute story, frankly. But I don't see them going that far. The ever-looming presence of the Lakers, we'll see. The Nuggets obviously will be in the picture. I don't know. I think Memphis and Houston could make some noise. Do I think that they're a real threat to Oklahoma City? No. I think the real threats to Oklahoma City are Denver. I'd put Dallas in that conversation, and I may put the Clippers with healthy Harden, healthy Kawhi in that conversation. I think that the Rockets and Memphis are 1 or 2 years too soon, is all I'll say. They're very, very good teams, but I think they're 1 or 2 years too soon.
For the Nuggets, what is the minimum seed that you think that they need to acquire? You obviously don't need the one. I guess I can ask that question too. Do you need the 1 seed? Do you need home court advantage for this team to get done what we all want them to accomplish? What is the minimum seed that they need to have accomplished before the playoffs start for you to have confidence?
Look, I needed 2 or 3 seed. I need to avoid Oklahoma City at all costs. I am. It's like avoiding Golden State during their prime years of the playoffs. Like you get in that 4 seed. Yeah, you may face the Lakers in round 1, and you might be able to blow past them. But Oklahoma City, looming presence in the second round, I don't want that. I would much rather have a 4 or 5 seed where Minnesota plays Lakers in round 1 than Minnesota plays Oklahoma City. And then you play a Sacramento or play a Phoenix in the first round as a 2 or 3 seed. And then you face Houston or Memphis in the second round. And I think that's a much easier path to Western Conference Finals to prepare you, because like I said, it's not always the best team. It's the healthiest team. It's the team that's hot at the right time. And if you run into a buzzsaw in Oklahoma City at the wrong time, that could be bad news.
All right. Moving over to the NHL, looking at the standings, let's check out the Eastern Conference. As it stands now, we have in the Atlantic Division, Florida with a 3-point lead, 67 points over Toronto, and Ottawa would be the 3 out of the Atlantic. In the Metro, you would have Washington, Carolina, and New Jersey. Washington does have Ovechkin back. Washington would be the number 1 overall seed in the Eastern Conference to start the playoffs. The 2 wildcard teams that we have currently, Tampa Bay and Boston. So the Lightning not going away quietly. Boston with that crazy move. We didn't even really talk about it because it was right in the middle of football season, but they get rid of Montgomery. and they bring in a new head coach, yet they're still right hanging on the edge of playoff contention. When are they ever going to get to a rebuild, if that's what we're ever going to see in our lifetime? But as the Eastern Conference playoff picture sits now, what is, I guess, your biggest surprise? What is leaving you scratching your head the most?
I mean, I didn't know Ottawa was in the playoff picture. I'll be honest with you, I didn't even know that. So
They've been playing well.
This is news to me, so that's good for them. I've been very impressed with Washington. What they've done with Pierre Luc Dubois, a guy that's been shipped around the league. Ovechkin, I think he's going to break the record this year. He's like 18 off right now. Everyone thought that with that injury, he'd be putting him back. He's had 3 goals the last 5 games. Like, he's putting up tear after tear. I really love what Washington, the Caps, are doing. I think they're doing it the right way. They're strong defense, built defensively, good goaltender in net. Like they're a team that could be a force with in the playoffs. That frankly I think could be a good test to Florida. Pull up that graphic one more time. For everyone thinks that I'm blowing smoke out of my ass about Sidney Crosby, the Penguins are 8 points out of the wild card. That is a long way to make up. If you want this guy to win another cup. That's all I'm going to say. If you want to win another cup, there's one logical way, is all I'm going to say.
But he's very, very loyal. That's my thing. He's very loyal.
I think the theme of this episode is there's no loyalty anywhere. Does
Sidney Crosby subscribe to that world? Sidney Crosby tells everybody the same story during pregame skate that he told them the last time they won a game, which might be a while ago. So he's changing the story up quite a bit. But, he's crazy. He takes $8.7 million on every single contract. Just because that's his number, 8.7.
That's the Nathan McKinnon cycle of those Halifax dudes.
Last thing for the Eastern Conference, poor Buffalo. Are they ever going to? What is Buffalo going to have to do to get themselves out of this hole? Because that is.
I don't even know. I thought they made good moves. I thought they made good moves when they got rid of Eichel. I thought they made some good depth pieces.
It's been that way like the last 4 or 5 years. It feels like we always feel like they've made better moves and got better. It's just never actually gets fixed.
You know what they need? I got the problem solved. The Buffalo Bills need to suck so teams start carrying again. That's what they need to do. So because the NHL ownership in Buffalo for the Sabres also owns the Bills. So obviously they needed the Bills to start sucking again. And to actually give some more time and effort to the Sabres. I don't know. They need to make some moves. I'm not going to waste my time going on a spiel about the Buffalo Sabres, but it's I don't know.
And I guess I misspoke. Last thing I'll talk about, Columbus. After that whole situation with Johnny Gaudreau, they are currently a point fighting for a wild card spot. They're a point back. They're tied with Detroit at 59. Boston and Tampa Bay both have 60, so it's not out of the realm of possibility that Columbus can find themselves back in the playoffs, I think, for the first time since they swept Tampa Bay as the 8th seed, and that would be just really cathartic, I think, for not only the players in the locker room, but the fans, the hockey community that the Gaudreaus obviously had such an impact on in that short time that they were in Columbus. That's something that's one of those stories in sports that you can root for because it's such a tragic situation, but that would be like a little bit of a silver lining. I know that they're not here to celebrate it, but it would almost feel like they have a hand in what they're trying to accomplish.
Absolutely. It'd be a great story for them. Like they haven't been there in a while either. So it's been a minute for Columbus since they've been relevant too.
Looking over at the Western Conference side of things, this is obviously where we're a little bit more interested. In the Pacific, Edmonton and Vegas currently tied at 68 points apiece. LA is going to get the de facto 3rd spot. I think that division is weak. We talked about that for the last few years. But LA right now has a 1-point lead over Calgary, so they get the 3 seed. They would meet Vegas in the first round of the playoffs. For the Central Division, it is Winnipeg, Dallas, and Minnesota. Winnipeg, 77 points, Dallas with 69, and Minnesota bringing up the 3rd spot there with 66 points. Colorado would be the first wild card team, and Calgary has the 2nd wild card spot. So the Flames would be the last team in. That means that the Avs would play the Stars.
Is that how? Because we reseed one like top seeds, right?
We would play the Oilers. We would get the Oilers in the first round. That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
I don't know. NHL playoffs are
Winnipeg would play Calgary. We would play Edmonton, and then they would reseed from there as to who plays.
NHL seeding is who's like anyways, where the points don't matter, and we make up the rules as we go.
Gary Bettman's the commissioner. That's all we got to say.
Hopefully not for much longer. Look, when I look at those divisions, I would love for the Avs to try to get to the 2 seed in the division. It's going to be a long stretch. You need to get hot here, pretty hot here. Would love a home first round series against Dallas. I think if we have the home series against Dallas, that might help us in that series. I would worry being a wild card team and having to face Edmonton. If you are going to be a wild card team, you'd prefer to play Winnipeg. That's what I would say, because Hellebuck is unreal right now. He's freaking real right now. But there's one thing Winnipeg does better than anybody is that's fall part in the playoffs. So if I were a wild card, I'd want to play Winnipeg, but you obviously want to try to get up to that point where you're 2 seed in your own division, where I think it's not that far out of the realm of possibility. It's only 5 points, especially when you have a lot more games against your division foes coming up. So that could make some big swings.
And it's also, we still have other moves that are going to be made. We've seen the one trade. Once that gets a little bit more solidified, I think this team might have a stretch where they just get super hot. At least that's what I'm hoping for, because now that we know that we figured out goaltending, we get Heischer kind of involved into the lineup. Everybody gets a little bit more comfortable and familiar with the other people around them. I feel like we got a much better chance against anybody that we play. Your playoffs in hockey are not guaranteed. We learned that the year after the Cup when Seattle won their first freaking playoff series in franchise history against us, because that's a thing that happened. That happened. We all had to watch it. Wouldn't it be fun? I know that it's almost impossible, but wouldn't it be fun to play Calgary in the playoffs? Get to beat Kadri and not have to really stress all that much.
I don't know if Calgary has the legs to get hot at the right time unless they make a move. So that's I think there's more possibility facing Dallas again or facing Winnipeg again as opposed to Calgary.
I would love to see Winnipeg.
Yeah.
Don't want to see Dallas. I'm tired of dealing with Dallas on this show. If Dallas plays the Avalanche and we have this podcast, it's unfortunately going to be a negative outcome for all of us Colorado Avalanche fans. And I'm going to have a fit. I'm going to throw a fit on Twitter, and I'm going to ruin my future. That's what's going to be the outcome of that.
You're not wrong. That would be very stressful, is all I'll say. That would not be a great time, plain and simple. The last thing before we move on from hockey, the Utah Hockey Club has come down to 3 names. There is a 66% chance that one of those names is going to involve a Colorado lacrosse team name. The 3 finalists are the Mammoth, the Outlaws, and the Utah Hockey Club. The Yeti has been revoked. The Utah Yeti has been revoked because apparently there's copyright issues, and for whatever reason, they can do Mammoth or Outlaws. So it looks like I think it's going to be Mammoth. I think that's what they're leaning towards. It's just so annoying. As a big lacrosse guy, I'm just like, can you not think of anything original in Utah? Like your basketball team name, by the way, is named after New Orleans, and your ownership got too lazy enough to rebrand. Like Utah, jazz music has nothing to do with the state of Utah. For those that don't know, the Utah Jazz were located in New Orleans. Okay, and they just became the Utah Jazz, and they kept it. They just kept it around, and now here they are, just sprinkling lacrosse names from Colorado, being like, "Yeah, that's pretty cool. Oh, that's pretty cool. Let's use that one." That's so dumb. It's so dumb.
Utah Super Soakers
might as well be the Utah Coyotes at this rate, because you could at least rebrand. That's a sick logo that you could have used from Arizona if you're really going to stick true with face. It's just so annoying. I don't know. I won't go on a full tangent, but seeing the logos, there's nothing that will.
The Utah Kodiak. Why not?
There's
bears
nothing.
Out there.
There's nothing. Like, could have been a bear. A bear would have been sick.
Mountain lion.
Like, there's so many different things you could have done. What does an outlaw have to do with Utah?
Not much, because the LDS, actually there was such a thing as the Mormon Mafia. I have learned that in my travels.
But like outlaws are from the 19 or the 1800s when
in the Southwest. I know, and it makes more sense for like Arizona to have the outlaws because that's where all the outlaw towns were. So yeah.
I don't know. Look, nothing. Those logos will never be as good as the Mammoth and the Outlaws, Colorado or Denver Outlaws logo. If you know, you know, is all I'll say. But like, It's just annoying to me.
The Utah Ice. Let's start stealing former Colorado Arena football teams. Why not?
Utah
All right.
Crush. Just keep going.
Yes.
Just keep
Yeah.
keep-
Utah Crush.
What else have we got?
Utah Buffaloes.
Utah Rockies. The old Colorado Rockies hockey
Rams.
team. Utah Rams. Utah Buffaloes.
If we really want to get lazy, Utah Utes.
Utah Utes. Get
a feeder program.
Options.
Get a college hockey program at Utah University. Make that your feeder program and just steal the logo. Let's talk Super Bowl. We're not going to talk about the game or the teams just yet. Nico and I, we do like to talk about some of the gambling, and the Super Bowl is one of the fun ones because you get the prop bets that come in. So we're throwing up the prop bets on the screen. If you're not watching, go check it out on YouTube. FEOTV Pod. Subscribe, like the video, leave a comment. Tell us what prop you're going to be locking in here. The national anthem being longer than 120 and a half seconds. The national anthem this year is going to be Sydney Sweeney. I'm just kidding. I'm looking it up.
Sabrina Carpenter.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant.
Tate McRae.
Let's see. What's another? Throw out another one. I'm almost there. Olivia Rodrigo.
Doja Cat.
Sexy Red.
Let me add this red. I show speed. He's in the Rumble. Might as well give him a shot.
Jean Baptiste.
Wait, actually?
Yeah, John Baptiste.
Who?
John Baptiste. John Baptiste.
Batista? John Batista?
I've seen his name on Spotify before, but what song does he sing?
I don't even know. Don't get us copyright issues, but I don't know what he sings. Is he I don't think he's a rapper. Maybe
he's not a rapper.
I don't think he's country.
What genre
is he like R&B? Is he like the no name of the U2, Coldplay,
he's a jazz.
and Imagine Dragons?
He's a jazz
saxophone guy?
Yeah.
Does he play saxophone? Oh, that's kind of sick.
I forget, the Super Bowl is in New Orleans, so it's a jazz
saxophone, hammer the over. They will elongate every fucking note. That's all I'll say. They will elongate every single note. So
I would also agree with that.
Give me the over. I have good saxophone on a national anthem goes hard. Like a good saxophone player will go crazy, but they will elongate every single note for 5 seconds. So
I'm picturing that the meme with the Squirtle. Dun, 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 dun. Why does national anthem have a bridge in it? That makes no sense. Will the coin toss be heads or tails?
I mean, I think I've been wrong on tails the last couple of years. Like I always say, tails never fails, but I've been wrong the last couple of years. I think I'll stick with tails because even though it does fail, I will like to think it doesn't fail, so I'll go tails.
I think I'm sitting obverse or heads for you non-history teachers out there. The heads side. Because I'm going with the trend. I'm chasing the numbers. Who will win the Kick of Destiny 3, Eli or Peyton?
Is it Eli versus Peyton? I thought it was somebody else.
It's Eli versus Peyton because remember they have the commercials now. I've always wanted to be a kicker. Eli, you'll never be a kicker. You got to be a quarterback like me and Dad.
Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't think Peyton can kick his leg very high. So I probably may go Eli here, if I'm being honest with you.
I thought you were going to go with the Bronco.
I know I could go the hometown route, but Eli has won the last 4 Pro Bowls apparently. By the way, I'll save my tangent until after we go through this, but I have a full tangent to go on about that game. But I'll go Eli because I think his leg can't get that high. Peyton's leg can't get that high.
I don't think either of them are going to make the Kick of Destiny because nobody's made the Kick of Destiny so far. So I don't.
Who was it? Gronk, and then who was the other
Gronk.
one?
No, it was Gronk 2 times. Gronk missed it twice.
Do you think? Just a question because they can spin that. Do you think because it's not live?
It is live. That one is live.
Are you so that the one this year's live?
That Super Bowl commercial the last 3 years has been live. That's why they're able to put this on the. It's a FanDuel. That not to say to give companies free advertising, but it's their advertisement that they're paying for, so it's an actual live.
I mean, they could spin that. In my opinion, they could spin that very, very easily.
I know, but it's a gambling company. You think the gambling company wants to really put that out in the world? Have the SEC crawling up their ass? I don't think so.
Probably not wrong.
Next prop that we have: who will score first, Eagles or Chiefs?
I'll say Eagles. I think Eagles could go down the field and score right away. I'll ride the Eagles here. I love the high-powered offense of Philadelphia, and I think that Kansas City could get winded quickly. Not necessarily winded quickly, but I think Eagles will come out similar to what we saw in the college football national championship, where Eagles will just go 80 yards down the field and have an 8-minute drive like Notre Dame did, and just pound the rock and just play smash mouth football, and hopefully it has a better end result though.
I feel like it's going to come down to. I think that the Eagles are going to start slow, but I think their defense is good enough that they can stymie the Chiefs' offense for at least the first half. The second half adjustments are going to be critical. I don't know why I'm getting into all of this analysis. I do think that the Eagles, they'll score first. I think that we could see a scoreless first quarter. So I think that this one might cash in the second. So you might be stressed out for a little bit of time, but I do think that if you put in the Eagles, they should have a chance to score first. But I just don't know if it's going to be on I don't think they're going to get a first play touchdown from scrimmage. This is not the Commanders that you're playing against. This is the 2-time defending Super Bowl champions.
Yeah, it's much different. I would agree with that.
Who will be in the lead in the end of the first half?
I'll say Eagles again. I don't know.
You're going to leave the door open for yet another Mahomes comeback.
Yeah.
I feel like he's been down at halftime. He's been down at halftime in all of his Super Bowls. He has lost the one. And that was against a very good pass rush, which is what he's going to see. So I'm not saying that you're wrong. I think that he's been down in all of his Super Bowls. I just don't want to leave that chance.
I know. I don't know. It just part of me just thinks the Eagles can get to a lead. I don't know what it is, but I worry about them holding it is the problem. So I'll say stick with the Eagles.
You know what I think might happen? I think we might end up seeing this one on bad beats because they'll score 2 touchdowns, and it should be at least tied so that you push, and then Smelliott's going to miss a field goal. Or a PAT, and then the Chiefs will end up having the lead.
Or Bucker mess up somehow. I know Bucker's on everyone's cases recently too, so I don't know. Either I wouldn't be surprised by either. You're not wrong.
We haven't really talked about the halftime performance, and I know that you weren't as invested in the Kendrick Lamar beef as I was, but I just want to throw out there, if you were watching the Grammys on Sunday night, they played Not Like Us, and everybody sang the whole part about Drake being a pedophile and that he's into A minor. And he also won 5 Grammys for this song. So this one is interesting because the prop says, will he play 10.5 songs? More than 10.5 songs. At his last concert that he did live, he played Not Like Us 6 times. That's not 10.5 different songs.
I don't think he does the same song over and over.
He probably won't. I feel like he might play a majority of that song.
I
feel like we might get almost all the way through all 3 verses.
What I've learned from what I've learned from halftime performances is that like they play snippets. It's like 3 minutes of a 5-minute song every single.
And he's gonna have a hell of a melody. I might add that melody the day after to my workout playlist because he's gonna start with Humble or DNA and maybe even go all the way back to We Gon' Be Alright.
There's the country's got a lot of great songs. Like that's not
if Pyros and Crips.
The problem is what songs they let him play. That's the other problem that they run into. This is like, when was the last rapper? 2 years ago in LA? What was it? Snoop Dogg? Was Snoop Dogg?
It was Eminem.
Eminem. No, but like it was a mixture of like 10 different artists.
It was Eminem, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre, 50 Cent.
I don't think that they censored a lot of the bad parts.
Oh, yeah, they'll censor them, but here's the thing: they censored the Grammys too. But you can censor the song that plays over the speakers. You can't censor a crowd, and you can't tell me that everybody in that stadium is not going to be singing that.
Well, the overlooming levy here is Drake sued them. You know.
I know, and he lost that lawsuit.
It's already over. Lawsuit's over.
It's already been confirmed that he can play the song, and they're using that song in the Super Bowl halftime commercials.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's cooked. It's over 10. Over 10. I'll go over 10 because there's so many songs and so many artists with him. Like,
I think that he's – because that goes into the next one. Do you think that there's any other special performers besides SZA? Tyler, the Creator, is from the same neighborhood, kind of. He's from the Los Angeles area. He has a remix of one of Kendrick's most recent songs. He has a ton of people that he's just – I feel like this is going to be similar to that Eminem show where you're like, oh, shit, I didn't realize that he's not doing anything this week. We might get a Lil Wayne collab.
I wouldn't be surprised with Lil Wayne at all. I think Lil Wayne, there's a pretty good shot because of the New Orleans guy. I don't think Lil Wayne's one of the greatest artists.
They've also
I love
just
Lil Wayne.
dissed each other, so they're possibly going to start a beef. I don't know if they're going to be working together.
Also true. I love me some Lil Wayne. I don't know if Lil Wayne would ever get to that level, but I think it'd be kind of lit. But I don't know.
Let's see, where are we at? So yes, there will be more performers than just Sizzle.
Yes, I'll say yes to that too.
Who is getting the ball to start the second half?
Chiefs.
Yeah, I feel like they'll either lose the coin toss and the Eagles will receive, or when they win, they'll defer it to get it in the second half. I think that's going to.
What happened? What happened 2 years ago? Did the Eagles? I thought didn't the Eagles take the ball? I can't remember.
That is a.
I honestly was working that entire game and missed the entire game. I remember that specifically.
Yeah, that was the year you guys were in the. Oh, that was when you were back in Taekwondo?
Yeah, that was 2 years ago. It's been that long. That was my last hurrah there, and I literally worked the entire day and missed the entire game. I remember that specifically. So I'm kind of excited to see a new matchup in my head. In my head,
you haven't been.
I know I haven't been through the ringer, so I don't know. I would lean Chiefs. I think Sirianni. If they wanted to do it, Sirianni would be the guy to say I want the ball.
They lost 38-35. Yes, I don't know if it'll tell me who got the ball to start.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really
matter. The Chiefs scored first in the second half, so I assume they probably had.
They probably did have the ball first, or the Eagles had the ball first. I don't know. I think there's a high possibility the Chiefs have the ball in their hands to start the half and can have momentum. So,
both teams score in the third quarter? Yes or no?
Yes. Yeah, I think it's another high scoring game.
Okay. The last one was as well. 38-35 is definitely a huge
at minimum a field goal. I think a field goal is very, very doable from both high-powered offenses. Absolutely.
This is how I know some people have a gambling addiction. Will the total number of points scored be odd or even?
I don't know. This is a crapshoot. I'll go odd. I think one team will win by a field goal again. Or it'll be
this one. This one is the crapshoot.
I don't know, Jimmy. I mean, they're all crapshoots.
Will he have Gator? Will the winning coach have Gatorade or water?
I think there's one of them that will not be a crapshoot. It's going to be Gatorade. Why the hell would they not be water? Why the hell would it be water?
I don't know.
They looked for the Gatorade one. Gatorade sponsors the Super Bowl. Gatorade is the official energy or official sports drink of the NFL. They literally give them. There's people. I've been on the sidelines when people or been near things when people dump things on people. And they would say, "Grab this one because this one has the drink of the certain drink in it." Like literally, that's a real thing they do. Okay, so it'll be Gatorade. At almost 99.9%, it'll be Gatorade.
All right. Will the quarterback win Super Bowl MVP?
No, absolutely not. I will go on record saying no. Mahomes doesn't win it. And frankly, I don't think Hurts would win it either. I think it's a good chance that it's a defensive player for the Chiefs again. Or I think it could be Pacheco if he has a big game. Devontae Smith. I think it's Barkley. To be honest with you. I think it's Saquon. I absolutely think it's Saquon.
I've just been thinking, I haven't heard Devontae Smith's name in a while. And the last time I watched him in a championship setting.
He went off. He went crazy.
Tiebreaker, what will the final margin of victory be? So you don't have to give away your score prediction, but what is going to be the margin of victory for the winning team?
4. I'll say 4. I say it will come down to a team having to get a field goal to win the game, or not get a touchdown to win the game. That's what I think it will come down to. Or a team will score a touchdown to win the game, which then doesn't help 4. It helps 3 more. But I'll say 4.
I think it'll be 2. I think at some point one of the teams, either because of a field goal that gets missed or PAT that gets missed, I think at some point one of the teams is going to try and challenge the other one, and a 2-point conversion, either successful or a team tries to get it and doesn't go back on it. Or there's a comeback attempt and you just end up getting to that number of points. I think it's going to be a close game. I'll say 2. I don't want to go the easy route and say 3 or 1. I'll stick with 2. I feel like that's interesting at least.
I hope it's a close game. I really don't want to blow out unless it's Philly with a blowout.
Chiefs by 15.
I'd be very happy. So.
Chiefs by 15, and we're never getting out of the Mahomes
I
dynasty.
mean,
It's going to last
couple Super Bowls,
forever.
last couple Super Bowls have been close. Like it's not the last blowout was the Buccaneers against Kansas City, like with Tom Brady's last Super Bowl win. So
Before Joe Burrow graced the Super Bowl with his presence. Yeah,
exactly. That was a close game. Obviously, the two Chiefs last Super Bowl with the 49ers was close, and then the Eagles one was close too. So it's been good games the last 3 years. So hopefully, knock on wood, it continues the trends.
All right, let's look at the games specifically. Super Bowl 59 on Sunday. We have the rematch. Jason Kelce not involved this time. Travis Kelce and the two-time defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. First team in NFL history to be this close to a three-peat. Darren gave me the stat last week when we were doing our Talking the Gridiron. There have been 8 teams that have been going for a three-peat that made it to the conference championship round. The Chiefs of those 8 teams are the first to make it all the way back to the dance. So it's already history, and it's possible that there will be even more history. And yes, I know that you hate this team, that this is an in-division rival, and that you have to deal with this quarterback. And
you should hate this team too.
I don't like them, but I'm not going to sit here anymore and say that they're not a good team. That they're not successful at finding. I know that you haven't. I'm just going to also. I'm now at the point where I'm giving them the credit that they deserve. They're a guy. Like if I'm thinking about it in my wrestling coach terms, because we have our regional tournament coming up, they're the 1 seed that you're like, oh, you tell your wrestler you got nothing to worry about. So hopefully they go out there and wrestle hard and catch them. You're like, oh shit, why? Why the first round? Why couldn't it have been anybody else? I could have dealt with anybody else, but this is the one team that you had to. You just constantly get brought back. I don't know what it is.
This is the Eagles team. In my opinion, is the best team out of the last 3 years they've played. I think they're better. They're obviously better than the last Eagles team.
I want to see if you get my reference in this one.
I think they're even better than the 49ers in last year. I don't think that's even a question.
Two Super Bowls in 4 years, right? 2 Super Bowls in 4 years. And if you want to call me a rah-rah cheerleader on the sideline, you can lick my beanbag, all right? That's all I'm going to sit here and say. Nick Sirianni.
I know Sirianni said that, but I don't know if
no, that was the Pat McAfee show when they had their guy that does the impressions doing his press conference. The Eagles, I mean, they're damn good. They're really, really damn good. They put up 55 in the conference championship.
This is a complete football team. The Eagles on paper are a better team. Let me make that very, very clear. They're a better offensive line. They're a better running game. They're a better weaponry offensively. Kelce obviously is the best one, but AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Goddard, they have Jahan Dotson. They have a lot of good weapons. Defensively, they probably have the best front seven outside of Chris Jones. I think Jalen Carter, Doan, they have a very good front seven. DBs, they have a bunch of rookies back there, which I think could end up biting them in the ass when facing Mahomes in the Super Bowl. That's the thing that worries me the most. On paper, they're the best team.
What worries me is what you can't measure on paper. It's that momentum X factor. It's the clutch
stadium pulse. It's the
stadium pulse. It's the clutch team.
Yeah.
That's the AFC Championship. Whether you think Josh Allen got across the line or not, Chris Jones and the rest of that Chiefs defense made him fall backward and to the side.
Yep.
They played everything perfectly. I know that you shouldn't be able to play the NFL officials, but it's been very clear. We've had a lot of spirited conversations about why you can do that. But that's what scares me. It's not the talent on the field because, yes, the Eagles should take care of that. But the clutch coach is Andy Reid. The clutch defensive unit is the Chiefs. And the clutch quarterback is Patrick Mahomes.
You're not wrong. Everything you said is not wrong. If I look at coaching, Andy Reid takes the trump card over Sirianni. It's not even close. If I look at big game presence, it's Mahomes over Hurts. It's not even close. You look at the experience level. Look, there's a lot of players in the Eagles team that was on the Super Bowl team 2 years ago. That's not a massive difference, but in terms of Super Bowl success, there is a massive difference. This team's looking for their 4th Super Bowl in 7 years or 6 years, or however long it's been. It's. If since I just came from Disney World, I can talk about this. If you want to beat the evil empire, you need to have one great hope. Plain and simple. You need to have one great hope. It was Anakin trying to beat Palpatine. Then it became Luke trying to beat Vader. Then it became Ray trying to be Kylo. If this Eagles team wants to get to the promised land, it is the yellow engine that could Saquon Barkley becoming Obi-Wan Kenobi and going down and slaying Anakin Skywalker and Darth and over there and Anakin and Darth Vader and over there with the Chiefs. Plain and simple. That's what it is. Palpatine is Andy Reid. Darth Vader is Darth Vader is
Mahomes.
Patrick Mahomes and like dude, it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot from Philly. I worry, but man, I hope to God that we do not get a three-peat. Which, however, we can call it a three-peat. Do you know that? We can't call it a three-peat because Pat Riley did have the NFL pay him for the rights to use that word on those shirts. They paid him for the rights to use the three-peat slogan, which he hasn't used, by the way, since 2000. Since the Lakers use it. But now, if the Chiefs do win, they can't put three-peats on the shirt, so that's kind of cool.
I didn't realize that was a thing, but I also didn't realize that they also own the term Super Bowl, so we shouldn't have been calling that. We should have been calling it the big game because we cannot refer to it as the name that everybody knows about. I guess it with this matchup being the same, we didn't have the show last week, so we didn't really talk about this. I know that you're not, but as a general fan, do you see this starting to build a little bit of resentment towards the league? Like we're going to get the same teams all the time. And now with Patrick Mahomes and this Chiefs team, they're too damn good. We got to figure out some way to get new people involved.
Jimmy, I saw 4 straight NBA finals with the same 2 teams in my lifetime. It doesn't.
That's the NBA. The NFL, we don't understand this. This makes no – actually, scratch that. Cowboys, 49ers. Cowboys, 49ers. Bills. So
it's not that crazy. It's not
never mind.
Yeah,
I'm letting the Twitterverse start. I'm starting to think Twitter's the real world again.
I know, and we gotta remember it's still X also too. It's not that old because there's new storylines every single year. That's what makes it so interesting. It's like there's so many different storylines with the Eagles team as opposed to 2 years ago. Frankly, we thought that we thought it was a long shot for Philly to win it when we talked about this game 2 years ago. We thought it was going to be a tough one to overcome because of how good that Chiefs team was on all aspects of the game. And frankly, they showed it. Last year, we said, well, maybe San Francisco could do it because San Francisco has great running game, has a decent defense, a good pass rush, has some holes defensively, a quarterback that hasn't been there, done that, though. This is an entirely different Eagles team that frankly, I'm not going to say it's the best team they faced in the playoffs the last 3 years, but it's up there as one of very easily. It's one of the top 2, top 3 best teams overall, top to bottom teams we've seen that face, and that is a lot of kudos to what Sirianni, what Roseman has done because, like I said, there isn't a glaring hole. I think the glaring hole is the DBs because of the youth. Exactly, the youth. I think that's where that comes into play. But the offensive line is still one of the best in the league. You have an elite level running back. You have a quarterback that has had playoff success. Got to a Super Bowl.
300 yards in the Super Bowl last time.
Exactly. Had playoff success. Had Super Bowl success. You have receivers that is a better receiver room than it was 2 years ago. A.J. Brown wasn't there 2 years ago. Or maybe he was. Maybe it was. I don't remember how long back that was. Maybe it was. But
it was either Brown or Smith. One of the two wasn't there.
I can't remember. But this team is a lot better. It's a lot better. And all I'll say is this: if the Chiefs want to win another Super Bowl, they cannot go down again like they had the last 2 Super Bowls. They can't. This team is because when you have as good of a running game as the Philadelphia Eagles had with their running schemes with Barkley, they'll punish you. They'll punish you. They want to get to a lead and punish you because when they get to a lead, they get more comfortable. And what you need to do as a Chiefs is you need to get the Eagles uncomfortable and make Jalen Hurts beat you because Jalen Hurts can't beat you. I'm not saying he can't, but he can be. But they want Saquon Barkley to beat you. Frankly, the Eagles want to run the ball, make your life miserable defensively, and run the ball down your throat. That's exactly what they want to do. And if you're the Chiefs, you need to make Jalen Hurts be a Super Bowl MVP performance and make him do that for them to win.
I just gained a whole bunch of confidence because I've been rolling this over and I gained a new perspective. The last 2 seasons, I think might sway that X factor that I was talking about. Because when you are successful, all of the mental toughness coaching and leadership classes will tell you when you are successful, it's great because you're figuring out ways to win. And you are really good at figuring out ways to win. I will give the Chiefs credit in that. You play the reps,
Do it better than
you,
anybody.
you play the refs, you play the situation, you know the situation's better. Andy Reid has those guys from top to bottom. It's a well-oiled machine. So you get all the credit there. But you don't learn your weaknesses. And I know that we've talked about their weaknesses and we've said this is down and that's down until it actually comes back and bites you in the ass and you lose from these weaknesses. Think about college. Ohio State, when they played Oregon in their rematch, knew exactly where they were weak, knew exactly where to strengthen, and knew exactly how to dominate a team that had not experienced a loss and didn't know what they struggled with. The Eagles, after the Super Bowl, made that 10-0 run and then had the shit kicked out of them and lost in the first round of the playoffs. They knew what holes they needed to fix, and they did. They have turned themselves from that guy that we all thought they were a fighter where you thought young, oh, yeah, he could get a shot at the title. Why not? It won't affect him that much. And he got his ass kicked, and it made him struggle for a while. But he made himself better. I fear the guy who had to claw himself back into the situation more so than the person who's been there for a while.
You are just better than anybody as putting Rocky into every single Philly story ever possible. You do that like without even noticing.
Two. I know this is two because the last 2 years it's Apollo getting the letters like, oh, Rocky should have won. Rocky should have won.
It's every fucking year. It's the same damn thing over and over again. I love it. I love you for that. I love you for that. It's just so funny. It's just so unbelievably funny. But you're not wrong. You're not wrong. It's every great movie. It's every great comeback story. The Mighty Ducks, Miracle, Rocky, Kim Kardashian because she had come on her back. It's all those. If you know, you know. Pause. But if you know, you know. Okay. It's just how it is.
I watched. You see the video? I watched it. Trust me.
If you don't know what I'm talking about, you'll have no idea what I just said. But like,
my students are so lost right now.
Rocky,
It's
probably better that way.
Kim Kardashian,
same thing.
Who is your prediction? What is your prediction? And give a final score for this one.
I'm gonna reverse jinx myself. Give me the Chiefs the 3-peat. They've already printed the shirts. I don't know. I want to be right in something. I guess I'll reverse the change.
Those third world countries are finally going to have Patrick Mahomes Super Bowl memorabilia. That's going to be hopefully. We'll see.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I've said it. I went with them, and it helped me. I think I'm actually winning. We haven't been keeping track of the points because I've been too busy with the end of wrestling season. I think I'm winning the playoff picks because I picked the Chiefs a couple of times. So I'll go Chiefs again, and I'll go 27-24. The Chiefs win their three-peat Super Bowl in a season where they could barely ever score more than 30 points by scoring less than 30 points.
I'll go 31-27 with 2 field goals by the Eagles, two field goals by the Eagles, 2 touchdowns, and the Chiefs getting 4 touchdowns, 1 field goal.
You want ready for this, Rocky tie-in? My Super Bowl MVP prediction: Travis Kelce, and we get an Adrian situation. Taylor.
Oh, that should be a prop. That should be a prop. Does Travis Kelce propose after winning the Super Bowl?
Does Taylor Swift propose? It's 2025. Let's not be sexist here.
Don't go that far. Don't go that far. I think everyone's pointing to this being Travis Kelce's last game. I frankly, he hasn't been as productive this year as years past, and I think that what is he, 33, 34 right now? He probably could play for another 2 years, but tight ends wear and tear. It's worse than anybody. Like look at Gronk, look at Tony Gonzalez, look at Shannon Sharp. Like the wear and tear after their career is very, very difficult. So it's almost better to get out in front of it. If they win a 3-peat, I think Kelce's riding on tour with Taylor Swift the rest of his life.
He was nominated for a Grammy best guest performance at a live event.
Really?
Yes.
That's a Grammy?
That was a Grammy. He didn't win, but he was nominated.
Who won? Who won?
I don't know. I only know about the Not Like Us stuff. I stopped my Grammy knowledge at Kendrick Lamar, but that was just something that
I didn't even know what the Grammys are. And I think this is a good segue into talking about my shitty ass weekend at the worst event possible. Look, this is a good segue into Bench Over Week. I didn't put them at this as Bench Over Week because someone deserved a lot more. Do you have anything else in the Super Bowl before I talk about this?
No, I was good with that. I ended with predictions. I want to get into segments. So give
The
us
Pro Bowl. The Pro Bowl is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. I want to make it very, very clear. As someone who went to the Pro Bowl, not for the game, let me make that very clear. Shout out my cousin. My cousin was a senior in high school, was in the Pro Bowl game. Got to play in the Pro Bowl high school All-American, or not All-American, but the high school All-Star game. So she got to play. By the way, she was their team MVP. So she got to be out there for the coin toss, whatever the fuck the coin toss was for the Pro Bowl. And then she got to meet all players and do all that. So I was so happy for my cousin. Shout out Sophia Ball. She'll be playing basketball at Mines next year, DT school.
Wish she was going to Gunnison, but
I know. I tried to tell her that Gunnison is a good school, but she felt the Mines.
You'll have more time to have fun. You won't have to worry so much about school.
Exactly. The Mines we're talking to her. So she was there. That's the reason why I was there. I went to Disney World, Disney Parks, built my own lightsaber. Pretty fucking sick. I'll be honest with you. I nerded out 100%. Have my own lightsaber. Going to be above my bed. Praise for damn sake. But I had the privilege or unprivilege to go into the worst sporting event I have ever been to. The worst sporting event I've ever been to. So if you've been a fan of the show for a couple of years, you'll know that we went to the MLB All-Star game, right? It was here in Denver. We went to the Home Run Derby, went to the All-Star game. That was one of the most fun experiences that we've done on the show. I'll still stay to this day. I'm not a big baseball fan. I know Jimmy loves baseball, but that was so damn much fun. The content we did being that close to Vladimir Guerrero Jr.'s home run ball in the All-Star game, seeing Shohei Ohtani go nuts, Alonso go nuts in the Home Run Derby, that's still one of the coolest events I've ever been to. I thought that the Pro Bowl was going to be at least a little fun. A little fun. It was the biggest waste of time I've ever seen in my life. Okay. Biggest waste of time I've ever seen in my life. I've been to the NBA All-Star Weekend festivities back in 2005 when they were here. NHL All-Star Game festivities in 2002 when I was here for the Avs. Been to both. I remember both of those. I remember shooting shots. I remember going to see autographs, seeing card merchandise things where there's.
We were in the batting cages at the MLB one.
Exactly. Batting cages, MLB. There's fan activation at these things. Jimmy, when I tell you there was nothing. No one gave a damn about this game. And frankly, I left after the first quarter. I did. I don't leave sporting events early. I do not. I left. I saw my cousin play before the game. Saw her do the coin toss. Saw her get interviewed on a big screen. And then I said, goodbye. I'm going back. I'm going to another Disney park and going 8 rides in 5 hours. That's exactly what I did. I said, Mom, I'm done with this. I can't do this anymore. She's like, I know, this is stupid. I'm like, you're telling me. And I'm a football fan. So the game itself, I don't need to go on and on. It's boring. It's flag football. No one gives a fuck anyways. It's boring. Drake May, who is the 20th best quarterback at best in the league, is in the Pro Bowl. Russell Wilson, horrible year, in the Pro Bowl. That's because people just opt out, and no one cares about it anyways. So that was my first problem. The game was pretty bad. Okay, game was pretty bad. When I talk about the littlest fan activation I've ever seen, I've seen the study because I work in sports. I see all the activation things that you do when you come to a game, right? Whether it be if you go to a PLL game, there's a little booth where you can shoot a ball into a net. There is little things you can spin a wheel. You can you can win a shirt. You do all this fan activation things. Only 20% of fans at major sporting events go to a game, walk in the gate, sit down, watch the game, leave. 20%. Most fans get up, go to a store, walk around, do fan activation, see different things. 80% of fans that go to a stadium do that. Like, I know we're sometimes the weirdos that just walk in and go sit down. We're part of the 20%, I know. But 80% of people walk in and do some sort of fan activation where there's something else fun to do. There wasn't a fucking thing. There wasn't a thing. I looked around. I was like, is there an expo? Is there an expo where they have stuff going on? Nope, none of that. Is there any booths outside where I could throw a football into a fucking machine? Nope, none of that. Is there anywhere where I can meet and greet the best players in the world? Nope, none of that. Is there any card shops? Nope, none of that. There's no activation things. Zero, zip, zero. I cannot stress this enough. If you want people to show up to this game that come from out of state, you have to have something. Have to have something. It is absolutely inexcusable to have zero, nothing, inexcusable. And that's not the worst part, Jimmy. I'm getting to the worst part. Don't you worry. I'm getting to the worst part. But it is inexcusable that you have nothing. Because the best part about All-Star Weekend stuff, I get it, it's after the season, people aren't there, whatever. It's the interaction stuff, right? Like All-Star weekends nowadays, unfortunately, are exhibition games that no one care about. NBA, NHL, MLB, all that. Okay. The best part about those weekends, the activation stuff, we get to have fun, do things, be active, go see different things, see Hall of Fame, see the World Series trophy that we got to see, stuff like that. Like that's the cool stuff about All-Star Weekend. There wasn't a single thing. Wasn't a single fucking thing. And then I'm a fan, right? I go to the game. I want to look at the merchandise store, right? I'm a Bronco fan. I walk up, Sertan's playing, Bonito's playing, Marvin Mims is playing. I don't expect Nick Bonito shirt. Okay, I don't expect Marvin Mims. I don't expect a shirt from every player. But I would expect the bare minimum is like players that are playing. They had 5 player shirts for sale. Can you name the 5, Jimmy?
Are they people that were in the Super Bowl and not in the Pro Bowl?
3 of the 5 were not there. Is my help.
Lamar Jackson.
Yep, not there.
Josh Allen.
Yep, not there.
Let's
Actually,
see.
I take it back. Josh Allen wasn't there. Sorry, I take it back. Josh Allen was not one of those. You keep going.
Joe Burrow.
Burrow was not.
He was.
Yep. You ready? You ready for this list? Number 1, Lamar Jackson. Not there. Gone. Number 2, Patrick Surtain. Oh, shit. Patrick Surtain. Broncos. Sweet. Don't worry. I'll get to that here in a second. Number 3, Amon-Ra St. Brown. Wasn't there. Wasn't there. Number 4, Saquon Barkley. Also not there. In Super Bowl, by the way. In Super Bowl. And number 5 was Justin Jefferson, who was there, which probably was the highest seller. It was Justin Jefferson. I went to 4 different merchandise stands. Those are the 5 players available. No Burrow, no Josh Allen, no fucking Travis Kelce, no Mahomes. If you're going to do players aren't there, none of that. And here's the kicker. I walked up to the stand and be like, you know what? I'm here. Let me get a Surtain shirt, right? He's a Bronco. I'm a Bronco fan. Cool to see it. I was there, whatever. Walk up to the stand. I'm sorry, we only have youth sizes of Surtain. What? They only had youth sizes of Lamar. I was blown away. I was like, so you're telling me, Bronco fan, that I have to purchase either a Saquon Barkley shirt, a Justin Jefferson shirt, or I have to purchase Amon-Ra St. Brown. Were 2 options I had if I wanted to do a player shirt. Those are the options I had. That's what you want from fan activation. Or I could put a big NFC logo on a hat and wear that around because I love the NFC, or I love the AFC. Big AFC NFC fan.
I just love ball. Okay, I just love ball.
Big ball fan. Just big ball fan. Jimmy, I literally walked away with one thing. There was a like memorabilia stand where I had some signed gear and had some cards, and there was a Bo Nix rookie card. So I purchased that for $18. That's all I did. That's the only thing I did on purpose. I bought a Bo Nix rookie card there. It was $18, but nothing else worth a shit. There's a signed Bo Nix jersey. I was probably not going to buy it. Don't get me wrong. I wasn't going to buy it, but I looked up and I said, "Why the fuck does that look so weird?" Oh wait, that's right. He didn't sign on the fucking number. It's signed underneath it. Jimmy, I have I'm not trying to flex. I have 5 jerseys signed in my apartment. Not a single one of them is signed on the fucking beat of the jersey, not in the number. I'm looking at it. I'm like, why the fuck would I buy this? Even if I'm a Broncos fan, why will I pay $850 for a jersey that the signature is smudged, by the way, because it's on the mesh and it doesn't look good. And I'm just like, why would I even, like I said, if I was trying to think about this, because I work in sports, right? I work in sports. Everyone knows I work in sports. I see fan activation. I see the ways we try to grow our game in the PLL and WL. I'd see how we do all that. And I was just thinking logically, what would make me want to come back to this game? The game? Nope.
No.
Activation? Nope. Merch? Nope. What brings me back to this game after I don't live in Florida? Disney World? That's the selling point. It's Disney World. Literally, the selling point is fucking Disney World. It's so I thought the Pro Bowl was dumb when it did flag football. I did think that was dumb. I was respecting it too much. I've never been blown away at the shittiness of an event before in my life. And I've been to a lot of sporting events. And like I said, as a guy who works in sports, trying to grow a sport, like I just am so it puts a pit in my stomach because that game, quote unquote, had more viewers than one of our games we'll have all season. That's the sad part. And it was the most boring piece of shit I've ever seen. It's so sad, unbelievable. It's just like so annoying. And like I said, I thank you for letting me go on my tangent because I just had to put it out there because if you're even considering it, don't. I'm dead serious. Don't. Like if you're even considering it, don't even go to the Pro Bowl and just spend 3 days at Disney World. It's much more worth it. It's 100% worth it. I just being 100% honest, you don't even think about it. Like just do something else. Go to Disney World. Fucking, I don't know. Go to a fucking AAA baseball game instead. I don't know. To do anything but that because it is the biggest sorry of an event, top to bottom, I've ever seen.
That's a very solid. I'll give that to you because I don't. I'll still do my benchmark of the week, but it was bad. I never expected anything worse. It's been bad ever since they moved it from Hawaii.
I understand the NBA and the NHL All-Star games aren't very entertaining. I understand that. But the home run derby is entertaining. The dunk contest is still entertaining. 3-point contest is entertaining. There's nothing that brings me back to this fucking game. Jimmy, the most entertaining thing was the punt into a fucking cylinder thing that went into double overtime. And I sat there with my mom and I was like, are you entertained right now? I just asked the question. I legit asked the question. I was like, what makes you entertained right now? And I told her, I was like, let's ask my cousin, are you done? Is there anything else we need to stick around for? And she said no. I'm like, off to the parks we go. Off to the parks we go. Just adios. It was a $25 ticket, by the way. They couldn't give seats away. All-Star game, $25. And infuriates me. Infuriates me as someone who works in sports. Infuriates me.
I think that it's valid. Everybody should know. I think a lot of people have realized it for a little bit of time. It hasn't been good since the early 2000s. They should just get rid of it because those guys don't want to be there anyways. Let's get into we'll go back to Benchwarmer of the Week for our true segment, but let's go back to the good. And I'll start off. All mine are college wrestling because it is regionals week. Shout out. I'm going to Grand Junction on Friday. I got to drive. I don't have to drive. I am going to be in the car. I'm a passenger. I get to be a passenger coach this weekend. We're going to regionals. We're going to try and qualify people to wrestle downtown at the Colorado State tournament next weekend. But I have college wrestling. I'm going to put this up here because this won't look like much until you've realized. So wrestling, the whole point is to physically dominate your opponent. Nico, the Penn State guy is young. I think he's a redshirt. He's either redshirt freshman or a sophomore. He's wrestling the number one wrestler, returning national runner-up from Iowa, of all places, which is one of the premier wrestling programs in the country. And this is how he ended his match. Just holding him like a little baby, wrapped all the way around him, nodding his head to the crowd, and then he gives one of these. Ready? Yeah, I know. I won. I upset the number one guy in my weight class, and I wanted everybody to know about it. He's my little baby. He's my little child. I'm going to hold him as close to a WWE moment as you'll get in college wrestling. Plus, Penn State versus Iowa is like must-see television in any of those situations. I know you got a good one too, so I'll get yours queued up as you set it up.
I love it. Was this player of the week or play of the week? I can't remember.
Play of the week. Sorry, play of the week.
Play of the week. I could have a good couple. Donovan Mitchell dunked on Porzingis tonight. I was recording this Tuesday night. He posted him, but I went Amen Thompson. Amen Thompson, rookie guard for the Houston Rockets.
I did not realize that was his first name with the tweet that you sent me. I thought it was Amen for the little move. That makes more sense now.
Amen Thompson dunking on the Knicks where he basically got fouled. Euro stepped past, made him lost his shoes, and then dunked on him in the foul. Amen, I'm pretty sure that's Amen Thompson. Yeah,
it is Amen Thompson.
I get him and his brother. It's Asar is the one in Detroit, but Houston has been really, really fun to watch. They got some great talent over there, and the little headsy shake dunk on you. That is a moment McCray over there for the Knicks will want to forget for the rest of his life.
I want to forget that. Oh, that's just. That's disrespectful.
Disgusting.
That's not, you can't do that to somebody. That guy's got a
You're on
family.
You're on skates and then game playing on a poster. That's a recipe for a disaster.
Let's go and I'll do it again. Ready? Yeet. Let's talk about something that we're both very excited that happened. I'll let you talk about yours first, and then I'll tell you my little story here. But
for those that are watching, I got my Penta hoodie on. By the way, I couldn't watch this live. It ate me alive. It really did. The Royal Rumble was like my favorite event up there, WrestleMania, in terms of wrestling, because 30 people come out. You don't know who's coming out next. I'm currently going through it as I said. I'll finish it tonight. Going through watching the rest of it. Unfortunately, I got spoiled to me as I was scrolling, trying to watching it live after I came back from the parks on Saturday night. It got spoiled to me, but it was a huge event, one of the best Royal Rumbles of all time, to star worthy. And Jey Uso, yeet, is the Royal Rumble winner, and he'll go on to WrestleMania. And I don't think he's going to main event. I'll keep it buck with you. I still think there's 2 other main events. I think he obviously will earn a championship shot. Who is against? How it is? We'll get there. We'll find out. But if you're a wrestling fan, this is the best time of the year, both ways. Which I'll let you get to yours here in a second. Both ways, wrestling fans, it's a great time to have some fun and watch wrestling.
Before I get to mine, so yesterday I'm standing outside, afternoon duty. I posted this on our social media, so if you want to get the full effect of the story, go check it out at FEOTB Pod. But it's a kid that I taught last year. I know he's a WWE guy. We talked about it all the time through class, and he comes up to me and he's like, I'm kind of sad about Saturday. I know Cena lost, huh? He's like, yeah, it sucks. I went, wow, this is awesome, because John Cena's we're Gen Z. He's Gen Z. They're the end of Gen Z. He's the GOAT. And he looks at me and goes, yeet, and walks a couple feet away and then does the slow turn and does it real quiet so nobody else knows what he's doing. And he just looks at me, makes eye contact so he knows I'm paying attention. And he looks at me and goes, yeet.
Look, he is very over. I'm excited for him. He's been around for a while, 10, 15 years now in WWE as a tag team wrestler. He's one of the high performers. Everyone loves him. I'm not going to deny it's cool to see that different people win it. Would have loved Punk. Never won the Rumble. Would have loved Cena. Get my man 17 for the love of God. Just,
it's going to come from the elimination.
That's the hard part. Is like, it takes away from the win because we want somebody else. But it's still such a cool moment for Jey Uso, so I'm not going to hate that much.
Other notable thing that I'm very interested in, and I've been sending you the edits that I've been seeing too, the Cody Rhodes Homelander arc is it is happening. It is already happening. Because what he did to Kevin Owens, the fact that Kevin Owens can still walk,
this is very surprising. I have watched that match already. Give me Cody Lander. Oh, please give me Cody Lander.
And I saw the clip when Homelander just vaporizes the guy in front of everyone. They're all standing there shocked for a second. And
So for him. Cody Lander is going to go hard. That's all I'm going to say. But John Cena heel turn, it never had a really shot except when he went against The Rock the first time. That was the only real shot we had. But the Cody Rhodes heel turn, the cinema of Cody Lander.
And it fits too because Cena's Soldier Boy.
Yes. It'd be very. Jimmy, you're setting up SummerSlam. You're setting up, or even WrestleMania. I don't know if WrestleMania is the end goal there, but SummerSlam, we're setting it up.
It could be a very fun SummerSlam.
Oh, it could be a very, very fun.
All right. My other, he was in WWE. Nico, when you look at that picture,
it was a horrible run in WWE.
It was not a good run in WWE.
He needs to go back to regular wrestling. Yes.
No, that's what he did. Trust me. He hasn't been regular wrestling in 3 years, and he's still the motherfucking pound.
How does he have eligibility left?
When he wasn't in NCAA, he doesn't use eligibility.
I guess that's true.
I think
he's not like the pros. I guess that's true.
And he did the NFL, but that doesn't take away from college wrestling eligibility. I just want you. So the picture, if you're not watching on YouTube, that is a very impressive picture. If you were a college kid, and you looked across the mat, and they said, "Okay, here we go, heavyweights, you're up," and that is the guy that comes out to the mat, that's intimidating in and of itself. And it says 2 pins. If you don't know wrestling, you'd say, "Well, that's not that much." That is an impressive feat because he is 200. He's wrestling 265-pound men, And that means that he takes them from their feet, places them on their back, not nicely, and then holds them there for as long as he wants them to.
Yeah, he's an absolute beast of a human being. This has got to be
He's
his
an
last
Olympic
year.
gold medalist wrestling back in college. Like, nobody's going to touch this guy.
How
Nobody's
old is he? 25, 26 now? Has to be, right?
Yeah, he's probably, I think he's about 2-3 years younger than us. So 25,
Do we
25.
see an MMA possibility? Do we see
I don't
that?
know if he wants to get punched in the face. I think that he'll go Olympic circuit wrestling after this because
I'm sorry. I do feel like the snob asking that question, but what I see from Bo Nickel, it's like that could translate. Like it's not.
Like, I think that he could be successful. I just don't like Bo Nickel. Bo Nickel's psycho.
Yeah,
He's a true psycho in every sense of the word. I think that Gable Stevenson's more of like he's just so talented and strong and naturally gifted that he's just like, oh yeah, I'll go wrestle. Oh yeah, I'll go try whatever XYZ. Insert next sport that I want to go to here.
Out WWE, you tell you that much. He's terrible. That dude cannot.
I think that he came in with too much of an ego. He thought that they were going to just make him Kurt Angle. What nobody realizes is when Kurt Angle went to the pro wrestling school, he started off as the bootlicker.
Yeah, that dude and Gable Stevens could not cut a promo if his life depended on it. Great wrestler, cannot cut a promo at all.
We need to get you a manager, sweetie. We can't have you on the mic. That's
it's really different, Brock, and it worked. It's really different, Brock.
All right, let's get to your real bench warmer of the week. I'll get mine out of the way quick. And it's ironic. I guess I should have known, but the number one college wrestling recruit actually did just announce his commitment to Iowa, so it wasn't all that bad of a week. But we saw the play of the week. They're wrestling Penn State. They have not beaten Penn State in a wrestling duel in 5 years. Iowa, under Dan Gamble, won 34 straight conference championships as a team for wrestling, and I think they had 20-plus team national titles and 150 national champions. They were the wrestling program in the country, and they have not beat Penn State, and they have not beat Penn State for a national title in 15 years. Cale Sanderson, as the Nittany Lions head coach, Nico, is 13 of 15 for national championships.
That's crazy. That's Nick Saban on drugs. That's different level of excellency. That's UConn women's basketball.
And the guy, as an athlete, he was 159-0 in college. He's the only college wrestler to ever finish without suffering a loss.
That's absolutely crazy. Cannot hate on that. Like I said, Iowa wrestling. If you don't know about Iowa Penn State wrestling, just look it up on YouTube. I promise you.
I'll be doing a little bit. I'm going to bring back some of my other alternative shows because I want to talk about this a little bit more, and I'll get more into depth. So if you're interested, look for Sunday Scaries or and I'll put blogs out for my brackets and stuff. But wrestling season, I know Super Bowl's this weekend. I'm more worried about regionals and state in my mind. That's the wrestling coach in me.
You're not wrong, and I love basketball trade deadline. So, unfortunately, when neither of our teams are in the Super Bowl, it does take a backseat of some ways. But we'll still watch. Don't worry, we'll still be watching. My bench warmer of the week. It's very easy. I went on a whole 45-minute rant to start the show. 30 minutes of regular, another 5 in the COA. Nico Harrison has got to be one of the biggest dumbasses I've ever seen in my life. Plain simple.
Thank God he spells it with a C, right?
Yeah, he does, and I don't claim him in the world. Nico is like I cannot stress enough. Luka Doncic is a one-of-one type of player. That frankly, if you don't live in a big market, it's very tough to get. It's very, very tough to get. I've already gone on record, and I know this for a fact. I will never see another Nikola Jokic better play for Nuggets. I will never see that again. I don't. Maybe 30, 40 years from now, I may get lucky. But the odds of that are so unbelievably low because of the talent he has. And the Dallas Mavericks, right after Dirk retired, which they had a year together, don't get me wrong. Right after that year, they got Luka. And they got gifted the next great European great player. And they decide, we're done. Ship him off. It's insane. And like I said, look, I think Dallas is still a contending team. Like I'm not going to say, like I said, AD is a very, very good player. He's a very, very good player. But when you trade the franchise away for what, 2 years of success, hopeful success, when you're not even the best team in the West, that's asking a lot. That is asking a lot. And like I said, Nico Harrison, I'd be very surprised if he made it past this contract. I think Cuban would probably, just because he traded Luka, he may try to buy ownership back and be like, I want this guy gone now. How pissed he is. For those, a little background knowledge I think is very interesting. People don't know. So back in, I think it was 2013, 2014, maybe around 2015. I can't remember the year exactly. And Steph Curry was a shoe free agent, by the way. Shoe free agent. For those that don't know, Steph Curry was in negotiations with Nike. He's in negotiations with Under Armour. And who was the Nike sales rep? You ask that decided to talk with Stephen Curry, Nico Harrison. For those that don't know, Nico Harrison A mispronounced Steph's name wrong. B profused and would not change on the fact that he would not give him his own signature shoe ever. And just left out thing after thing in the negotiation process. And Under Armour, for those that know, back up the Brinks truck. Now he's the face of Under Armour basketball. And obviously the greatest shooter of all time, one of the greatest players of all time. And he was instrumental in not getting Steph Curry to Nike brand, which is obviously the premier basketball brand. So and then obviously this Luka deal. And like I said, look up to this point, he's made good deals. I think the Kyrie Irving deal was very good for Dallas. I think the PJ Washington deal was very good. I like Gafford trade as well. He's made good moves. This is not a good move. This will not get you 4 years of a chance of the championship. This will get you booted next year if this team's a first round, second round exit and doesn't make the finals again after last year's finals appearance with Luka. And like I said, they have to. Nico Harrison is going to sit from home more than likely without a job in 5 years and watch Luka Doncic lead the Lakers probably to another NBA Finals, and it's going to make me sick because of it.
I can't believe it happened, but that is a great way to wrap up the show that we started it with. Bench warmer play and player of the week. We had a whole bunch of great talk about trade deadlines. Obviously looked at the NHL and NBA for a while, so it's been a full episode, first 2 hour episode in a little bit, and we obviously gave you guys a week off, so we gave you plenty to get all acquainted with and everything like that. Anything else, Nico, real quick before we let everybody go off to their weeks and enjoy the Super Bowl? I guess you want to give an update on where you're going to be and what the show's going to look like?
I will be gone next week, so Jimmy will be solo or possibly having another guest on. I'll be in Virginia. Leave from Virginia Friday morning, excuse me. Thursday. It's going to be early Friday night, which is going to be brutal for me. But it's exciting working for the WLL. For those that don't know, PLL we've talked about all summer, or for the women's lacrosse league now. This upcoming champ series, I'll be with California Palms. So check us out on ESPN. I'll be on games all next week long. And I'll be obviously in Virginia for that week and a half, and hopefully the Palms can take home the first WLL championship. So excited to do that again. And like I said, unfortunately, my schedule literally revolved from 8 a.m. practices until 9 p.m. Post game meals. So it's going to be some long days. So unfortunately, won't be on the show next week. But I know Jimmy will hold the fort down and give you all post Super Bowl coverage and everything going forward. And I'm sure we'll have a lot to talk about when I come back. So appreciate Jimmy holding the fort down and like he usually does when I'm gone for work and making my life miserable like it is this time of the year. But I'm excited. And like I said, we're on ESPN, so check us out. WLL, PLL games, championship series. Like I said, it's the Olympic style format. Both are. So if you in 2028, it's right around the corner. As weird as that sounds, 3 years from now, 2028 is right around the corner, and Olympics will have the cross in it. If you want to see Olympic style lacrosse, tune into ESPN next week.
I think that's obviously we'll keep the show going. We took our bye week last week. Nico will go on and get his champ series done. We'll be back after that. There will be still content coming, and be sure to check out the website, bookmark it, feotbpod.org. Like the channel on YouTube, subscribe, follow us, all those good things. Leave a 5-star rating. Continue to tell people about the show. We appreciate all the community that we built so far. We can't wait to see what continues to happen. Crazy. We're almost done with our 5th NFL season, Nico. This will be our 5th Super Bowl champion that we're going to be talking about on the Far End of the Bench podcast.
Absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy. Hopefully our fourth different Super Bowl champion we talk about, because 2020 was Bucks.
We haven't talked about the birth as champions. We were still in college when that happened.
It's been a while.
I wouldn't want to celebrate it with anybody else. And
enjoy the Super Bowl. Be safe, everybody. Super Bowl weekend can lead to dumb things happening. So I'll say there are dumb people out there. So be safe, be careful. There's a lot of crazy things in the world. It's not the funnest time to be flying right now. I know. So I'll be safe too. And like I said, we're looking out for those people that have been impacted with everything that's going on. And like I said, just be safe and love each other.
Be a nice person. Tell somebody you love them. Enjoy the rest of your week, and we will see you guys. Well, I'll see you guys next week. We'll see Nico after the WLL Champ Series. For myself, Jimmy Pilato, my co-host Nico Bryant. See you next time.
Peace.
If you don't stay down and you never quit, come on over here and sit on the far end of the bench.